Not like this. Leg point.
என்ன அப்கமிங்
शेड्यूल கொடுத்தா
इधर हम बात ही नहीं कर सकते थे ना, हम बोलेंगे वो लाइव पे जाएगा।
हाँ wait.
ஏன் அப்கமிங் போட்டுருக்கு? ஏய் ஓடு
पीछे
ஓகே கேமரா சவுண்ட் கேக்குதா பாருங்க. ஓகே
शार्लिन என்ன பண்ணு இப்படி என் போட்டோ
நீங்க இங்க இருக்கீங்களா?
இல்லைடா இல்லை வந்து ஜூனியர் எனக்கு பிடிக்கும்
11 இது லிங்க் யாருக்கு அனுப்புறது? எதுல சார்?
யூடியூப்ல லைவ் என்ன அக்கௌண்ட் அந்த இது ஷேர் பண்ணுறீங்க
சார் அந்த சேனல் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க. கவுன்சில் பேஜ்
ஆ ஓகே ஓகே
எல்லாரும் வந்து அப்படியே நார்மலி
ஆ நம்பர் இருக்கு நான் நம்பர்
காப்பி லிங்க் மீடியா பண்ணி கேட்குறாங்க.
ஆ சரி அந்த லிங்க் அப்படி போட்டு
இன்டர்வியூ இன்னும் வரல.
நோ கமெண்ட்ஸ்
This will be starting the event in 2 minutes, so please settle down.
அம்பரோட ஓகே ஓடி செக் பண்ண சொல்லலாமா செக் பண்ண சொல்லி அதெல்லாம் இங்கே தானே கேட்குது பார்த்துக்கோடா பவர் பேங்க்கும் அவனுக்கு அழகாக வந்துட்டு பவர் பேங்க்கு டிஸ்கனெக்ட் பண்ணி அவன் ஃபோனை சார்ஜ் போட்டுட்டு இருக்கானுங்க பார்த்துக்கோ தான் போய் திருப்பலாம் தேவையில்லையா சார்? அப்படியே இருக்கணும் ஆனால் மட்டும் மாட்டேன்
யாராவது கவர் ஆகாத மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா லைட்டாக என்ன அட்ஜஸ்ட் பண்ணி
எப்படி அட்ஜஸ்ட் பண்ணுறது சும்மா இல்லை இது இப்படி மொஸ்ட் இது கவர் ஆகிடும்
கூட்டு மாற்றுக்காது.
ஆ இதே ஃப்ரேம் பார்த்து தள்ள தெரியுது கொஞ்சம் எதுனா ஆக்சுவலி இது மேலே போக மாட்டேங்குது ஃப்ளிப் ஆக மாட்டேங்குது ஓகே இல்லாத ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கே இந்த டேபிள் வச்சுக்கலாம் பின்னாடியா தப்பா எல்லாத்தையும் சொல்லி வச்சுருக்கேன் இதில் சார் லைவ் யூடியூப்பா இந்த ஸ்க்ரீன் இது ஆங்கிள் ஓகேவா அது பின்னாடி டேபிள் வைக்கலாம் மாட்டேங்க ஓகேனா நிறைய பேர்
யாரும் ஃபேக்கல்டி வருவாங்க.
இல்லை இங்கே யாரும் வரமாட்டாங்க
சொல்லி வந்துருக்கீங்களா?
ஆ
எஸ் எஸ் ஆமாம் ஆமாம்
எஸ் எஸ் போதுங்க சார் என்னடா ஆமாடா ஆமாடா ஆ ஏய் வராதவங்களுக்கு அது வராதவங்களுக்கு ஓகே பையா ஃப்ரேம் ஓகே இல்லை அது இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ட்ரீட் பண்ணும்
ஏன்
கொஞ்சம் மேலே
ஸ்க்ரீன் இருக்கு சொன்னார் ரொம்ப கீழே திரும்ப கேமரா மட்டும்
நல்லா இருந்துச்சு முன்னாடியே சரி தெரிஞ்சு போடலாம்
இல்லை ஆகாஷ்
டேய் பக்கத்தில் உட்கார வச்சா என்னடா பிரச்சனை உங்களுக்கு? ஆல்ரெடி சீட் இல்லைடா. உட்கார எங்கள் பேட்ச் தான். நீ டைம் கேஸ்க்கு உட்காந்துருக்க. யார் சொன்னா? உட்கார சொல்லு, பக்கத்தில் உட்கார சொல்லு.
எல்லாம் இங்கே வாங்கடா, இந்த ரோக்கு வாங்கடா எல்லாம். எல்லாம் அப்படியே எல்லாரும் இங்கே வந்துங்கடா.
Guys, please sit down fast. We'll be starting the event.
Please take your seats. We'd like to get started. Good morning to everyone here. I'm Gauri Shankar from Final Year, head of the Speakers Collective and one of the moderators for today's debate. And I'm very glad to see such a large turnout for today's electoral debate. We'd like to welcome our returning officer, Dr. Saraswati, and our faculty advisor, Dr. Hema, for gracing this event with your presence. We are all very grateful for all the help you've given us and all your support in this endeavor to have a proper election. We hope to see a fruitful debate today with a lot of discussion and questioning regarding all the issues that this college faces. And without wasting much time, we'd like to get started with the event. So for the benefit of everyone here, I'll read out the list of candidates that are contesting this election one more time. So for the post of president, we have Jatno Tanusha and PV Sai Likita. For vice president, we have AM Cyril Sanjay, Hemant A, Ibtisam I, and Peri Jishnu Harsha. For cultural secretary male, we have Surendra B. For cultural secretary female, we have Ritika Rajan. For sports secretary male, we have Adi Narayan C. For sports secretary female, we have Aditya S and Lavanya Shri K.A. For hostel secretary male, we have R. Karthik and Krishnamurthy S.R. For hostel secretary female, we have Ramita Anand. And for academic secretary, we have Ashwin G and Ibtisam I. So now we'll have Jain and Kalanidhi from third year to explain the rules and regulations for today's debate. There are also two alliances taking part in today's debate. Worm Fire Alliance consisting of A. Hemant and PV Sai Likita. Please forgive me if I mispronounced anything. And Fried Chicken Alliance consisting of AM Cyril Sanjay and Jatno Tanusha. Just so that everyone is clear about the names.
So yeah, now moving on. As we start the presidential debate of this year, I'll be giving the general instructions to all the candidates. So first of all, as this is a parliamentary debate, strict adherence to the time limit is expected. Every speaker will be strictly timed and they are not allowed to go beyond the time limit. Please remember that you will not be allowed to go beyond your time limit. And no crosstalk is allowed amongst any of the candidates when another candidate is speaking, and unless it's allowed by the moderator. Finally, the language should also be strictly official. This is a parliamentary debate. Decorum must be maintained always. Colloquial terms are unacceptable and strictly not revered. And regarding language, once again, you are free to talk in both Tamil and English as long as you remain coherent and clear. The audience and your fellow candidates must understand what you're trying to say. And yes, there is also a rebuttal round, and there will be other audience questions rounds too, and the time limit for those rounds will be under the moderator's discretion. Yeah.
So I'll just be reading out the specific instructions for the candidates right now, and please pay proper attention. So the duration of your opening speeches or your election manifesto speeches, the maximum duration allowed is 4 minutes. Please do not go beyond 4 minutes, and the candidates are allowed to make their promises and elaborate on their manifesto in these 4 minutes only. So we'll be starting off with the speeches or your opening manifestos for the secretarial division first, and after finishing the secretarial division, we'll move on to the presidential division. In which we have unopposed candidates standing in. The rebuttals will be only for the post where we have more than one candidate. And after every candidate speech, I repeat, after every candidate speech, not after every category, after every candidate speech, there will be posed to a round of questions by both the moderator and the audience as well. The audience round of questions is open for anyone in this lecture hall, and we'll be passing on a mic to you. So please feel free to pose questions to the candidate after their speech. So yeah, we'll be starting off with the post of Cultural Secretary Male. So we welcome Surendra sir to give his opening speech.
Good morning, respected faculty, my dear friends and fellow students. Standing here today, I feel genuinely happy and a little nervous, actually a bit more nervous. But more than anything, I feel grateful to be in front of all of you. I'm not just here as a candidate for Cultural Secretary, but as someone who truly believes in what cultures meant to all of us. For those who don't know me, I'm a dancer, and that dance is a big part of me what I am today. It's not just something I do, it's how I express myself. Through dance, I've learned confidence, discipline, teamwork, though many faculties don't agree with me. But I've also had the chance to take part in many competitions and win a few. But more importantly, I've learned what it takes to represent something bigger than myself. And I believe these are the qualities a cultural secretary should have. I don't want culturals to be limited to just a few days in a year. I want it to be something we experience regularly, something fun, inclusive, and exciting that everyone can be part of. Most importantly, I promise you my dedication. This is not just a position for me, it's something I truly care about. I'm ready to give my time, my energy, my full effort to make our cultural life more lively and memorable. Friends, college life is not only about marks and achievements, it's about experience we create, the friendships we build, and the memories that stay with us forever. Together we can make a campus a place where everyone feels confident to express themselves and where every talent is valued. So what we are planning to do as a cultural secretary, what our manifestos are. First coming to dance clubs, we'll organize many dance workshops, many dance battles. Dance battles is something which is being organized in Arts College, but we would like to bring the culture here. And dance workshops will be conducted for free of cost, like there won't be any charges to get participated in dance workshops. And about band, we'll organize many jam sessions, like every monthly we'll organize jam sessions, and we'll make sure both dance and FP, fashion club teams and band teams, they get their OD. I can't guarantee you, but I'll make sure I'll put my best effort to get you guys OD. Then for fashion parades, we'll organize a separate club, and each and every batch years will be given equal importance and talents will be recognized. And then about we'll organize a cine club, which is very new to ESIC. Like some may be skilled in editing, some may be skilled in cinematography, some may be skilled in screenplay, and some may be skilled in story writing. So we'll gather each and every talents and we'll make a cine club. And there are many culturals that are being conducted for short films. We'll make sure we get participated in everything. And cine clubs will be very new thing towards I see, and I'll make sure it will be started very soon at the earliest. And about the gaming club, ESCC gaming club, it's already been in process. So gaming clubs, like we have many more talents in games like esports, FIFA, like PUBG, many, and we are planning to start a club, and that is also being in process. And we'll start a gaming club which will be recognized soon by the council members. So lastly, I'd like to conclude my speech with something which is too personal to me about dance. Dance has given me everything. It has given me recognition. It has given me everything. It has made me what I am today. I'll promise you that what recognition I got through dance, I'll promise you every one of you will get the same and more than that what I got today. The recognition, you'll get the same recognition what I got today. So that's it. Thank you.
I just have a few questions to ask you from what you promised. One thing I noticed is that you plan. Hello. One thing is that.
Is it audible?
Is it audible to the very last row?
Third row ki
Is this audible now? Can the last row hear me? Okay, no. Hello. Better? Okay. So from your speech, I gather that you're going to be organizing a lot of clubs for different cultural events, and you're planning also for the OD. So these are the two main things I noticed in your speech that you have promised as a cultural secretary. What about strengthening talents? What about inter-batch relations in terms of each of these events? What about all the other smaller events that don't require these large teams, but where people go single? And what about events like that? Because you can't keep organizing clubs for every single event, right? A cultural event in a college has 40, 50 events. So for the broader aspect of culturals, what do you have? What to offer as cultural secretary?
Dance workshops and dance battles are being conducted for that month so that we can recognize individual talents through dance workshops. Like mostly me and Litika and many members from our dance club will be conducting the dance workshops. So that might be a good opportunity to find the individual talents, and we make them more competent in a way them to get participated in the intercultural events.
No, dance, I understand. We already have a dance club. We have dance teams as well. I'm talking about events where we don't have teams, where people go singularly for events that you haven't mentioned. Like you spoke about dance, you spoke about music, you spoke about fashion parade. What about all the smaller events that we, even within our own yard, we have, to name suddenly, we have all the painting and art events, we have Etomania, we have all the English speaking writing events. What about all of those other events?
We'll be conducting regular auditions for that, ma'am. Like 2 months once, 3 months once, we'll be conducting regular auditions for that, and that might be a good opportunity to find the talent. And
because we have clubs for these things as well. We have a speaking club, we have a writing club, we have all of these things. But your speech only focused on the dance club, the music club, and the fashion parade. So you think it's going to be biased when you become cultural secretary towards events that you are going to favor?
No, we'll make sure that every talent is recognized here, and we'll conduct auditions for everything, not just for the mentioned clubs are being already there, and I'll make sure that each and every talent, each and every cultural events are being considered, and we'll organize a separate mini clubs for that too, ma'am.
Okay, I have one last question. If you put everything under clubs, if you keep bringing up more and more clubs, then for you to organize these clubs every month or every quarterly or whatever your plan, is also going to be very hard. When are you going to find the time? Is getting and organizing clubs your only solution to getting people into culturals?
No,
Or do you have any
we'll
other?
have separate in charges for everything, ma'am. So that we and the other cultural secretary will be supervising it. And apart from that, we'll have separate in charges for each and every that, and we'll be collecting monthly reports, ma'am.
And how will these in charges be chosen? Will they be from the final year batch? How will you choose these in charges?
In charges will be mostly from all the 3 years batches, ma'am. It depends on their interest, ma'am. Who are more. So.
Thank you.
So in charges are not just meant for the final years, ma'am. So it depends on their interest, ma'am. The guys who are interested more on the event will be selected as the in charge because they'll be the one. Because they'll be the one who will be more interested in conducting auditions and everything. So mini clubs will be started for every events you mentioned, ma'am. Every hour events mini clubs will be mentioned. The one I mentioned here in the speech is about the major clubs, which all clubs require equal attention. But these major clubs are of maximum people, so that I mentioned about.
You can close by letting me know how you're going to keep all of this accountable. As cultural secretary, how are you going to keep this open and accountable, all of these clubs and all of these activities?
Once the council gets formed, the first thing we'll be doing is starting the process for initiating all the clubs process. And at the earliest, we'll get the proper recognition to start all the clubs, and we'll officialize all the clubs, ma'am. It will be done at the earliest as soon as the council gets formed. And once it forms, the organizing committee will be asking for the reports. Obviously, they'll be asking the reports. Monthly reports, for sure, it will be sent to their sent to the council for every auditions, every events we are going to conduct, so that there won't be any bias. And being a dancer, there won't be any bias towards the dance club. Equal opportunities will be given, or equal attention will be given to all the clubs, and reports will be reported monthly to the council members.
Okay, thank you. Audience question. You will.
So this is a question from me. ESIC Medical College is not a large college. It is a college of around 600 students, combining all 4 years. How many clubs is too many clubs? Why do you need this many clubs? Why do you feel like the solution is more clubs? Or when do you think too many clubs? Eppo nee solluva that we've started too many clubs. So how am I going to handle all these clubs?
I don't think there's a term called too many clubs. Each and every talent, even there is a single person talented in any event, we'll be starting a club for that single person. So we don't need members, this many members to start a club. Even a single person is talented, we'll be starting a club for them. And the club is not only meant for participating in yard events.
No, let him finish. You can't.
The club is not only meant for participating in yard events. The club members will also be participating in the inter-cultural events. So
To develop their interest. And one more question. So as final year cultural secretaries, you will also be responsible for organizing YARD this year. There are a lot of issues that can arise during YARD. I'd like to ask about one of these issues. So I don't know if you remember, but I remember definitely, back when we were in first year. And something happened, and the end result was decided by a very close margin, and one of the batches felt that the result was unfair to them. How would you handle a situation like that if one of the batches feels that they have been treated unfairly by the organizing batch?
I know what happened here in
We all know.
First.
Nice thing happened.
I do know that's very unfair, but it depends on the people who seated there. I don't think the people who gave the judgment was the right person to give that.
Okay, no, but how would you handle it?
I'll make sure that I'll be present at the moment, and I'll make sure I deliver what is fair there, and I'll make sure that justice will be equal opportunities.
Thank you.
Yeah, last question to you. So you spoke about attaining ODs. So you specifically mentioned that dance events and the fashion parade events would receive ODs. So as was already discussed by Tejaswini ma'am, I wouldn't go into too much into the specifics of the other events. What criteria do you have for events that would make them eligible for getting an OD? Like for example, again, Eatomania or like speaking events like debate or debate or block and tackle. What would be the criteria that you would set to make an event eligible for OD?
I don't get your question.
So, sir, in your speech you mentioned that dance and FP would be receiving ODs. So, if other events could receive ODs, for example, minor events or events where they participate alone, what sort of criteria should they subsist for them to like be eligible for getting an OD?
One thing I can tell you here is OD can't be guaranteed by me because OD depends solely on departments. So for both major and minor events, OD is something which is being decided by the department. So there won't be any partiality between major event and minor events. Like if I'm going to get OD for a dance club member, the same thing I'll be doing for a Eatomania or like other smaller events. Thing. So OD is something not. It depends on the department.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Does the audience have any questions, sir? Okay, then we'll move on. Come on.
Okay, thank you, Surinder. Thank you, Surinder, for your speech and all your answers for all the questions. We'd like to start with the next. Thank you. Next up, we have the post of Council Secretary Female, Ritika Rajan.
Good morning, faculty and dear friends. I'm Ritika Rajan.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry, 1 second. We'll be tapping once when you have 1 minute left, and there'll be 2 taps when your 4 minutes are up. That's for you to know the time. Okay.
Good morning, faculty and dear friends. I'm Ritika Rajan and I'm here standing with you today as a candidate for the position of Female Council Secretary. I'm going to share that I had an opportunity to participate and achieve gold medals in many national and international competitions, which gave me the experience and to know and taught me the importance of teamwork and integration. So for me, culture is not just about events and competitions, it's more about celebrating talents, creativity and the unique spirit of every student in our college. I also believe that cultural events brings confidence and unity among us. Our college has a lot of talents everywhere, but it just needs the right stage. And I will create the stage for every one of you, because talent grows only when it's given opportunities, encouragement, and the right support. So my vision, firstly, is to make all the cultural activities more inclusive, where events should be limited not only to a few math students, but to all of them, and who are interested, who are passionate about it, should have the opportunity to participate and be recognized. Secondly, I plan to organize more frequent and cultural programs throughout the year, and not just during any annual events like year. Apart from here, we can have dance battles, as Surendra said, workshops, art exhibitions, fashion showcases that keeps our campus more throughout the year. Thirdly, I would want to mainly focus on students who lack confidence and who hesitate to come forward and to showcase their talents, because I would want to create a supportive environment and make them feel comfortable to do everything. And so thirdly, I would also like encourage you in bringing new clubs and activities. And other major thing is that I would want to focus on participation in inter-college culturals and make the transportation much easier. So that because as we go to other places like Chennai or KIMS, it's quite difficult because many parents are not allowing their student as it's very far. So I would like to make them come because as a transportation is one of the major parts of it. And apart from this, So with all your support, we can build a campus where every talent is seen, every voice is heard, and every celebration becomes unforgettable. And so let's all together make cultural events and make a campus proud. So thank you, and I hope to seek your support and your help.
Okay, my first question to you will be, you said you will also organize other events apart from YAL and Bharat Singh that we already have, dance battles and so on. And you also said you want more clubs and you agree with your previous candidate for cultural secretary for more clubs, which means these clubs will also need frequent gathering and meetings and frequent club events. Can you tell me if you have a proposed draft plan and how to fit all of this in the academic calendar, which all of our academic calendars are already filled. So how do you plan to fit all of this? When are they going to happen?
The academic calendar does not have to be affected because we are planning to keep the small events after college, maybe after 4 or 5, which will not affect the academic calendar, so it will be easy for us to get permissions also. So, for example, we can have dance battles or workshops after 4, just for 1 hour. We can have painting sessions or painting competitions, t-shirt painting, face painting after 4 o'clock or even on Saturdays after 1 o'clock, which will be easy for students also to participate. And for permissions, it will be easy for us to get permissions also. We won't affect the academic calendar.
Okay, just 1 second, there's an announcement to make.
So we have an announcement. The results for Reverian's batch female general representative will be announced now. The total votes casted were 123 and the total valid votes were 122, and Varunya V has won the election with 72 votes.
You mentioned transportation. You mentioned you will arrange for transportation. You also mentioned workshops and events and all of that. How do you plan to get funds for all of these things?
For transportation, I think it will...
And workshops as well.
Workshops will be free because it will be conducted after 4 o'clock by us.
Okay.
And for transportation, I think as team members, as we go to other inter-college competitions, we will be responsible for the funds as well. We can share it among ourselves and we can...
So it will be student funded, fully the participants funded.
Yes.
You also said you were going to try to get every student involved. You're going to try to overcome hesitancy when it comes to participating and all of that. So we already have teams for events in our college, and we also have students who haven't participated in anything. If there is a culturals tomorrow, and you have a team that has won, and you have another team who are assistant, who are new students, you as cultural secretary, how will you choose which team will go participate in the event, and how will you overcome hesitancy, or how will you get cups for the college?
Okay, so regarding this, because it's a college new when it comes to inter-college, so I think you will go with the team who has won.
How are you going to help the people who are hesitant and who don't participate?
We can ask them to go for other events like duo dance or Arab tunes. We have so many other events as well, not just only group. So we can promote them to go for and attend all these other events as well.
Okay, so your idea to balance this is to go for the team itself for the main events and send all of these other people to...
we have auditions for dance as well. So there will be people who are actually talented in the group, in the team. So they will be going with us for the inter-college functions as well. And in the same team, there are other people who are also interested in other duo dance or any adaptations as well. So we promote them without hesitancy. They can go and participate in other events because it's all solo events. So we will need our support.
And do you have any plan to make sure the same people don't keep going for repeated events and new people get opportunities?
Yes, so we have many other cultural events, not just 1 or 2. In a year, I think we have almost like every college keeps inter-college cultural events. And we can so as one pair goes once and the next college event, other pair can go and they can perform themselves. So that we'll have equal participation of all the pairs and all the students as well.
So you as cultural secretary, you're promising to keep track of every college's event and who's going where to make sure everybody gets opportunities. This is what you're promising.
Yes.
Okay.
So I just have one question, ma'am. So we were talking about various events, like throughout your speech and even in the questions. We were talking that all other colleges, we have so much events. And as a student in ESIC, the major event we face every year, as far as culturals is concerned, is YAL. So when we talk about other colleges, we have KMC's Pradarshini, we have Stanley, we have MMC's Revivals. I just want to ask, is ESIC something under the plan for the next 1 year?
What's our plan?
Do you think our college is capable of doing so?
To
Our own inter-college cultural event?
For that we need funds, so I think it will be difficult for us to make a very big event because Pradarshini and other government colleges, they have sponsors. I think they'll be able to make the event.
No, like irrespective of the funds, if we speak only in terms of infrastructure and the manpower we have, do we make it up to their standard to conduct intercultural? Let's leave funds apart.
With the infrastructure and the number of students we have, we will be able to. But with regards to funds, I think we won't be able to.
Ma'am, as you're like an active participant of many events too, and you're involved in active practice for a lot of upcoming events, YAL is expected to arrive very quickly. So how do you plan on balancing both your individual practice as a dancer and also your role as cultural secretary right now?
Yeah, for this I have to co-cultural secretary. I think, yeah. So I'll be here always, but for the practice sessions we have a different schedule. So I make sure that it won't clash with the arrangements made for YAL, and it'll just be one day event. So it's just be one day event. But the practice sessions are always after 4, so it won't be affecting the preparations for YAL to be made. And
okay, yeah, thank you.
And I also have my co-cultural secretary to help me with that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Any questions from the audience? Okay, we'll move on to the next one.
Thank you.
So our next candidate for today will be for the position of Sports Secretary Male, Adi Narayan.
Good morning, Honorable President. Myself, Adi Narayan. I'll be standing for the Sports Sec Male. So, when speaking about myself, a major part is by football. I'm a really big football enthusiast from childhood. Football is what brought me into sports. I love playing football, and more than that, I love organizing and watching and conducting the football matches, tournaments, everything. So, football is what brought me into sports, but later on, it has taught me that sports is more than that. I love all the sports now. I love conducting, I love organizing sports. That's why I have been to all the sports events conducting in our college for the past 3 years. I have been there even if I am not participating or not related to that itself. So here I want to encourage and help whoever is interested, whoever really wants to participate or develop their game or want to seek a new skill, or it may be due to many reasons. I want to support anyone who is interested. That's all, mostly. I want to represent our college. That's why I think I am good for the question. Okay, that's thank you.
Well spoken. My first question is, how will you ensure equal opportunities for both hostelers and day scholars in this? Because hostelers have the hostel ground that they can practice on, but day scholars don't have that access.
I don't think discrimination between hostelers and day scholars exists. The team always should be taken by the amount of work they have put in the background, the amount of practice they have attended, the amount of interest they have shown to the sport. When I am choosing the team, I always stick to that. It's not based on hostel or day scholar. Even if it's a hostel or a day scholar, if we have put the background work, he's interested and he has practiced well, I'll take it.
But is it not easier for a hosteler to show that interest to you, because you're also a hosteler and the ground is also in the hostel, practice also in the hostel? What if someone from the day scholar side wants to practice with, they'll have to come? Are you sure there's no discrimination in that aspect between, not discrimination, but for the lack of a better word, I'm saying. There's no.
The amount of effort a day scholar takes to make it to the ground itself is huge because their home will be in a different part of the city.
Yeah.
They are coming to the ground and then they are playing. But still, we have less number of participants from day scholars in sports, especially. We are feeling like that. I'm especially feeling like that. Can you answer how many people from the football team are from hostelers and how many are day scholars?
In football team, majority is the hostelers, right?
Ah.
But there are day scholars who
Can
are
you give me a number, please?
Exact numbers I don't know. Around maybe 17.
You were
18.
the team captain for how many years?
As a captain, it's just 1 year. Sir. So vice captain, I have been more.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So in football team also, there are day scholars who are regularly competing in matches representing our college. Here, those you can take the difference between the day scholar who is coming for all the matches and who is not. Why he is not selected is on them. If you want, you can personally answer them. I don't want to wait in the audience.
So would you acknowledge that it is harder for day scholars to like participate in
Yes,
team
yes,
events?
I do acknowledge.
So what are you going to be doing to bridge that gap?
So in hostelers, I make them come to practice every day actually. For day scholars, I have having asked them to do that. I have reduced the number of days for practice. I have asked them to come twice or thrice a week. That too, 2 months or 1 month before the event that we are planning to attend. What can I do?
If at all you are reducing the time for day scholars to practice, then unfortunately you are giving more opportunity to a hosteler to practice again. He will become a better player, and compared to the day scholar who has got lesser opportunity. What do you have, and how are you going to answer this?
Okay, so just because I want to make them equal, should I restrict the others from practicing? That's just.
You just told that you are not demanding day scholars. Like you are giving less amount of training sessions to day scholars and more amount of training sessions to hostelers because you told that you have day scholars have a difficulty in coming. So obviously, in an ideal way, you should give an equal opportunity to day scholar also while bridging the gap. How will you do this?
I am giving equal opportunity. They can attend all the days. They can come and play all the days in hostel. I haven't restricted them from attending that.
Okay.
I have set the minimum standards. I have asked them to attend at least 3 times a week. That's what I have told. If they are interested, they want to improve the sports, they can come every day and play. Please.
Okay. How will you handle participation from students who are not professional players, who are not experienced players? See, for example, I am not an athlete. I don't know how to play football. I don't know anything about football. If tomorrow I come to you and I'm like, I want to become the next Cristiano Ronaldo, how will you help me?
That's what I knew actually. Okay. As a person of my
Tomorrow, what will you do?
I am not a professional player at all. In my team also football, I am not the best player at all. All that I have is interest. So anyone who has interest like that, I really love them. I really want people like that. I don't want 100 Messis playing in my team. I just want 10 interested people in my team. That's all I do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Adinarayan, for that very interesting session. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll move on to the position of Sports Secretary Female, for which now for the first time we have 2 candidates standing. First, we'd like to welcome Aditya S.
So, since this is the first post where we are entering into where we have more than one candidate participating, from this debate onwards, the stage is open for rebuttals as well. So, as soon as both the candidates finish speaking, you can proceed with your rebuttals. We'll give up to 2 minutes for each candidate to give their rebuttals. So they can point out points from their opposition's speech and give their rebuttals, but the maximum timing allowed is 2 minutes for the rebuttals and 4 minutes for the opposition. So we now invite the opposing candidate also onto the stage, Lavanya Sri.
from St. standing for the post of sports secretary female. So basically, sports is not like winning medals. It's based on like participation, teamwork. So basically, sports in our college is like it's having very less participation even in inter-college events also. So what I want to do is like some people they are interested but they are not willing to come to sports because they are saying like there are no practice sessions. When we go for inter-college also, only we are practicing for 2 days. That's not what we need. We need a regular or consistent practice session. So I think if I come to this position, I can do that. Then my aim is to improve sports culture. Actually, our sports fest, we should have a consistent or we should make it coordinated. So I think I can do that. So many times we face issues like last minute confusion, lack of communication and all. So basically if I come to this position, I think I can have a better communication so that the event can be well planned. And also I think we have a proper time schedule timing for these sports events and can inform the students before itself so they can start practicing for the events. So last, and it's all good, better planning, better execution and better participation. That's all.
You can be seated. We can have your speech, and then we'll move on to the rebuttals. The questions will come to both of you after your rebuttals.
Good morning to all the respective faculties and my dear friends. I am Lavanya Shri from Zenedians, running for the post of Sports Secretary. And I have actively participated in dodgeball, shot put and thrower and other sports in Astra. Apart from this, I have been a national level swimmer and I was also participated and won in state championships. I have also participated in state level water polo championships. And my vision is simple. So yeah, I believe that better equipment leads to better practice for the sports person. So I will work towards the procurement and proper maintenance of the sports equipment, and I will implement structured practice sessions for both boys and girls in the hostel grounds to prevent overcrowding, which allows everyone to train efficiently. And I will also ensure a designated practice space for the day scholars and also encourage other day scholar students to participate in practice sessions so that they can participate in inter-college competitions. Last but not the least, Astra. It will be a bigger, better and a memorable experience for every one of us, for which we look forward to. All of these are not just promises, these are practical and achievable steps that address real issues faced by us, the students. If given the opportunity, I will not only organize events but also address these issues so that everyone will be benefited. Thank you.
Thank you to the both of you. So we give you the option, if you want, you can avail up to 2 minutes to rebut your opposing candidate's speech. You can also choose not to do it, but if you have anything to say about their speech, you're free to take 2 minutes.
No, they're not available.
You don't want to rebut anything. So we'll move on to the questions then. Okay. Lavanya, first to you, because you're at the podium. So you mentioned separate practice space. You also mentioned better equipment. What are your plans to procure funds for these things?
So, funds obviously first with the administration and also from the to get small funds from all the people who are interested to actively participate in sports. And for designated space, I just mean to get a small space from hostel grounds so that both hostelers and day scholars can practice. And also that after college has at least daily 1 hour, so that they don't practice like only before the intercollegiate events. They can just practice regularly for all the sports.
By designated space, you mean within the limits of the hostel ground, you are going to assign spaces, not any new spaces and things like that.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Sir, please.
So you have to.
Since from now on there will be competition between 2-3 people, I'll also start asking questions. Okay. So you said you are a national level swimmer, right? So how do you see the future of swimming in ESIC?
I think some people do see swimming as a fitness goal. Like swimming is it can be a workout for whole body. So I think some people do swimming in our college. So in upcoming years we can include swimming in our college.
Like how are you planning to do that is the question. Like for now it will be like a personal choice for most of them. But since you are a national level swimmer, if you get elected as a sports secretary, what would you do to the sports for ESIC? Like how will you convert it to from a personal choice to a event where we regularly compete? Like all other events we regularly compete with other colleges. So how will you achieve this first?
I think the first step would be by introducing swimming in Astra, so that other students from the batch will be motivated to do swimming, at least to not prevent negative points. So by further upcoming years, I think most of them will be motivated to do swimming. And the people who are interested in doing swimming, and me being a final year student, I can help them in doing like small practice sessions and swimming pools outside.
Any more questions?
This is just. No, I'm just gonna ask. Okay. So just continuing on the. Can everyone hear me? No, it is on like the. And none of them like work. Okay, I think I'm loud enough for everyone to hear it, so it's fine. So just continuing on the question regarding the designated space for day scholars, since you mentioned in your speech that it's going to be within the hostel grounds, why is this divide necessary? Why can't day scholars and hostelers just practice together? Why is it necessary to have a divide when they're going to be sharing the same space?
It's not like a division between hostelers and day scholars. It obviously now only hostelers are mostly using the hostel ground. Like when hostelers and day scholars come and practice there, it'll all be obviously overcrowded. So we can be dividing them into sports, like first 1.5 hours, or the first alternate days for the sports. So we can prevent overcrowding and
Okay. Okay, thank you for your answer. So this is a question directed to both the sports secretaries. And also, sir, it's directed to all the 3 people who are standing, the sports secretaries. First of all, the committee wants to ask you if you're aware of Nasha Mukt Abhiyan, and we would also ask you if there's any sort of drug abuse or alcohol usage or cigarettes usage within the hostel, and we want to hear your stand on it. All 3.
I think in hostel it's better for hostel secretaries to address that, right?
First of all,
They have a follow-up question. You can answer. You are from.
you mean to ask what is their take on?
Yes, ma'am.
Take. What is their view on this?
We have a lot of studies stating that wherever in a hostel or any community, the amount of people who are doing sports is more, which has shown that the substance abuse and alcohol abuse has decreased. and Nashamukta bans on decreasing substance abuse and more of recreation related work. So how will you encourage sports, and do you acknowledge that certain things are present, or are you unaware of that, or what is your state on it? What is stand on it? You can answer, no problem. All our students will be happy. No problem.
Not have this. I think engaging students in sports will bring discipline in them. So we can encourage all the students to take up at least a sport or at least get a skill so that they can not get addicted to them.
Okay, are there any questions from the audience, if there are any, for the sports secretary candidates? Aditya,
Sir, it's not audible.
Nothing is audible.
we need to ask Aditya. First, we have questions for Aditya. Okay, so
You asked the question to Lavanya, so I should definitely ask. So let's say we are planning for you are selecting team for a group event, okay? And you already have a team based on your practice sessions. And now currently one of the team members is not able to join because of an injury or illness or something. Now you have two options for that spot, okay? One from the same batch, like let's say the team is composed predominantly of one particular batch. Okay, the current team is composed predominantly of one particular batch with very few number of players from other batches. Now we have one vacant spot. Now we have two competition for the vacant spot. Okay, one person is from the same batch, one from the other batch. Same batch person is less skilled, whereas other batch person is more skilled. But the team members say that for a team event, skill is also necessary, team effort is also necessary. So all the other team members are telling you that you take this person from my same batch so that we all will be able to collaborate better and perform better. Okay, so now which one would you choose? Would you go by skill or by team effort? Who will fill up your last decision?
More skilled, if we come with him, we can make him like we can make him a strength. Encourage him with us and we can play with him or her with and
Any more questions?
thank you guys for putting up with all of it. Thank you so much. Do we have any audience questions? Sorry, I'm so sorry.
There's not.
We have an audience question for the sports secretaries. So we'll pass the mic. Yes, ma'am.
Since we know last year's Astra dates came up like a month or two ago, and this year's Astra dates haven't been released yet, and there's not much time left till the main Astra. And last year the minor events were conducted a month before Astra, right? So if you release the dates like a week or after, and you release it like congested Astra dates, would you be okay if one batch is not agreeing with it? Like, would you go ahead with the dates you prefer? Actually, we have no dates after May because all the other batches are having exams. So it's more important to conduct within 1 month. So everyone should agree. Yes.
Do you want to follow up?
So you'll be going with the dates you've preferred over the students' opinions. It's for all of the sports secretaries.
So obviously students' opinions matters a lot. So yeah, your opinion after getting your opinion on it, the dates will be confirmed, right?
All the dates of Astra and YAR was discussed with all the batches beforehand itself. We still haven't got permission from Dean Ma'am or Mr. Ma'am. Before that, sir, we have discussed with all of you guys. Your timetables have been set. your examination schedule has been checked, and the best possible dates have been in May, and that's why we kept it. In that also, all the minor events which are happening beforehand, if you check the dates, we also listen to some flashing in between. So the available dates is very few, and in that we have asked the players also, so their opinions. But still, we cannot prefer more on that because of unavailability. If we are available, we are fairly give tenure. No worries.
So
you are unavailability only.
Okay, I have a question. You checked all the dates for all batches, and then you plan to keep it on some 3 dates which you mentioned. So I know what dates you have preferred. I have signed the document. I know. So you have asked for 14, 15, and 16. Are you aware that any internal assessment or something is being conducted on the dates, or the dates which you preferred?
Not really.
Okay. Pre-final years having internal assessment on those dates. Okay.
I mentioned about university exams and.
Okay.
He may not be aware because May timetable is not yet out. No, so far it is not accessible to students. How will he know?
Are there any more audience questions for the sports secretary candidates? Yes, please.
Sir, actually for our batch we have inter-college academic fest coming up in the April, sir. So that is a very big deal for us. We have a lot of work we need to put into. So it comes out April 28, 29, 30. And the proposed YAR and ASTRA dates were the second and the third week of May. So what we were informed was we have our model theory and model practicals also in the month of May. So do you think it would be fair for us to participate in all these? Do you think it would be easy for us to participate in YAR? So we won't have time to practice for the sports. We want to complete them, so we want time to practice for all the sports.
The thing is that practicing for sport, it just doesn't come with the 2 months practice to do it just before the event. It comes from the overall practice that you do over the year. It's not a daily basis.
2 months
When we also when it comes to YAR and ASTRA, the practice begins only around 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Yeah, that is the reality.
Why should it be like that? You can change that. There's no rule that you can only practice for 2 weeks back.
But bringing the whole batch for inter, we can ask other players to participate with other batches and practice. But for intra, all the batch participants will not be available throughout the year. Practically speaking, all the practice happens 3 weeks before YAR and ASTRA. So do you think it would be like a fair chance for us to compete?
It is a difficult question for you, I understand that. But later, after that also, if we postpone it to June, it's more closer to your university than May,
Is it possible to postpone it to October? Because most of our batchmen have the same concept. Because our
After your university exam, then comes the first year's exam, then comes the second year's exam. After that, the time schedule for sports and cultures for our college is on May and June. It's allotted like that. So we can only conduct this month.
So previous years it was also...
No, previous 2 years back when it happened in October, it was due to unavailability of dates, the permission was not given. That's why it was postponed for that much longer. And that event also, it was not a good one. There were problems happening due to the rain, climate and all. Many of the sports were cancelled. Ground availability was not available. So it's better to conduct in this time also.
Sir, but those days were more like as much as you're saying rain was a problem, then now heat is also a problem, right, sir?
Last question.
So our major concern is our academic fest.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we are running very short of time because we have so many more things to look at. So we'll have one last question to him, one reply from him, and that's it. Okay?
Sir, we just wanted a solution for this. Like, how are we
Okay. Just respond once and we'll.
Actually, we have talked about it. Your batches also beforehand itself, haven't we?
Okay, that's it. I'm sorry, we are running very short of time, but very productive conversation. Thank you. Thank you to all the candidates. Okay, now we'll move on to another post which is contested by 2 candidates. So So we'd like to welcome the candidates for. Yeah. Okay. Sorry to inform, but there's been a small change in our procedure. So we'd like to have the debate for Vice President happening now. So we'd like to welcome our 4 candidates: A.M. Cyril Sanjay, Hemant A. Ibtisam I, and Peri Jishnu Harsha. Please take your seats on the stage.
ரெண்டு பாக்ஸ் இங்கே இல்லைங்களா விஷயங்களா கொஞ்சம் ரெண்டு பாக்ஸ் எடுத்து டக்குனு
You guys can take your seats. Thank you. Whoever's willing to start first can come and give your opening statement. Shabu Triyada Purnama. Go in alphabetical order. Who's the first roll number?
A very pleasant morning to everyone present here. Today, I would like to start by quoting Rosa Parks, American civilist, social activist, you stand for something or you will fall for anything. Today, stand for something or you will fall for anything. Today's mighty oak is yesterday's nut that held its ground. So the real question today stands is, what are we standing for and who are we standing with? I am standing here for a change. I am here to be a glitch in the matrix, and I am here to stand for real problems and real actions. Now, you may ask, with all the experience you have, what will you do? First, let me just tell you about my experiences. I would like to start with my favorite quote, that is, Jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than the one. Okay, so I have been, with all these experiences, I would like to inform you that it qualifies all the roles of Vice President. I have been the winning cultural secretary for our batch, which was like a record-breaking till now, okay? And then I have been in many sports, and I have conducted Artral Carom event, which was the first inter-college event in our college. Then I'm a part of different clubs, and I'm also the head of Ink and Inks design wing. And I have also attended many case presentations, poster presentations, and coming to research, you might have seen my manifesto. That itself is a research product. And I have also handled our Zen Insta page, like one of the handlers. So by all this, I'm not bragging about myself, but what I want to imply is, when given the responsibility, I deliver. Now we can ask, with all this experience, what will you do? So I would like to go into my manifesto. At this point, the question no longer remains what the problem is. It is about how are we going to solve it. It's not about listing the solutions right now, so I'll be focusing mainly on the priorities right now. So first up, I would like to provide all of you with a student email ID, which has like many benefits to us. So to do that, first I'll have to understand what are the constraints currently present, and also what are the administrative difficulties to provide that. As for my research, like there are 3 options available for us now. One is Google Workspace, another is Microsoft 365, or a simple domain email which we can use. So the benefits of student email ID is like so many accessing research journals and like many discounts and all. So I will try to get that. Next is something called Junior Senior Connect program. This was like already present. It was called Mentor Mentee program, but it's no longer existing. Like in that group of students were connected and also faculty in charge was present, but now it's no longer present. So I would like to bring that opportunity back. Like seniors will be your survival. They will support you, and a group of faculties will be in charge for a group of students. So since seniors, faculties are also once MBBS students, so they can address your problems. Next up, for sports, I would like to support our batch for launching esports club. Okay? Since MBBS like gets us all drained, so we also need time to have fun. And talking about individual events, I would like to conduct. I would help to conduct intra-college events apart from YAG. I know there are clubs existing, but they are functioning but not very. So they are not functioning properly. Okay. So for that, I would like to submit a quarterly report for the clubs, which will make them active. And for communication, I would like to keep the student council Instagram page very active, which will be a one-stop solution for all your problems. From that, you can see all the circulars, holidays, and whatever information to be shared. Next, I would like to introduce something called, reintroduce something called anonymous monthly feedback forms, which already existed, but even I wasn't aware of that. So I would like to introduce that. So we get real feedback, real outcomes. And that must be periodically followed up. Next, talking about hostel affairs, I know it's not under the jurisdiction of a vice president, but as a bridge, vice president has the role to connect with students and administration. So mainly focusing on hostel issues, I would like to focus on the mess quality by forming a student quality control team. Okay. So to end my speech, I would like to quote Thomas Edison that vision without execution is just hallucination. So yeah, vote for civil, vote for clarity, consistency and completion. Thank you.
We'll do individual questions now.
Still, I have quite a few questions for you. You said you wanted to be a glitch in the matrix, and you want real problems and real solutions.
Yes.
Can you list me 3 real problems which exist in our college?
Okay, sir. Quoting real problems right now, students personally approach me and ask, sir, please put this in your manifesto. The library is closed right now. So what will you do for that? Next, hostelers complain that there are no regular water facilities for them. There are no dispensers there. Next, coming to sports, esports wasn't a part of club that I would like to do.
So these 3 are your priority problems. The current real problems.
Not in any order.
Library, water, and esports. Then you said you want seniors to be the survival kit for juniors. Can you tell me the opportunities where juniors and seniors will get to interact? First, we have to meet, interact, then gain trust, and then become survival kit. So, what are the opportunities or avenues that you will provide for this interaction to happen?
Yeah, okay. So the first place we can interact is the college itself, the clubs. In hostel, we can interact. While playing different sports, we can interact.
That is common, no clubs, sports and other things. What if someone is not part of any club, not being a part of any
yes,
of the
that is what the Mentability program was meant to be. It is formed randomly. A bunch of students are selected from every batch.
So this will be voluntary or everyone should be part of it?
Everyone is a part, it's their thing to involve in
What if
that.
they don't want to be a part?
We will be allotting, it's their choice.
So how do we approach them? Someone who's not part of any of the
Okay,
initiatives.
someone who's not interested, they can personally approach us.
No, this is about how do they get to interact with their seniors. Suppose I am not involved in any
Sir,
activity.
might have provided the opportunity, they don't want to utilize it, so we can't do it.
So, okay. You don't want to bring any newer avenues or space for interaction, but instead you want to focus on what already exists. That is what I get.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned in the manifesto also, before fixing the leaking pipes.
So one from your manifesto, you said about anonymous feedback forms and rapid response teams or some kind
yes,
of.
yes.
Who will be the part of this team?
So it isn't just the individual thing, sir. There will be a group of people from all the batches.
How they will be selected is the question.
For anonymous thing, it can be selected randomly, or for being without bias, maybe the people in post, already in the post, since they are elected, they are held responsible, they can be a part, and also randomly you can select, sir.
See, I have a problem. Let's say I'm a student, I'm facing a problem. I want to complain. If the elected members are there already, I'll complain them. Only when I'm not satisfied with them, I'm going to come and enter this anonymous forms. Now, when your rapid response team is also constituting of the elected members, what is the point in having a separate rapid response team? Where will it go and complain now?
Like it can have like non-elected members.
How will it? I should know when I'm complaining, when I'm trying to open up about my problem, I should know whom I'm opening up to, right?
Yes, sir.
If only I know who is going to respond from the other side, I will decide whether to
Sure.
open up my problem or not. So, how are you planning to elect or select members for this rapid response team?
Like it need not be discussed, like it should be discussed in the council. Like if it involves a person in the council, then we will like not include him. Like it will be maintained, the confidentiality
It will be a
maintained.
dynamic team, then not a fixed
Not
team.
a fixed
Based on
team.
each complaint, you will form a
Yeah.
different team and then.
Like quickly we can form.
Okay, my questions to you. First of all, you're part of an alliance with the candidate for the presidential role. So who are you without your president? Say only one of you gets elected and the other person doesn't. Who are you without your president? What are you going to do as a VP if the alliance doesn't get elected?
The alliance, like per se, it is just for the campaigning thing, but it is also serves like a dynamic. Like we have a good dynamic amongst us. So even if the president isn't elected, I will be like held responsible, and I will be working like, and I have worked in different sort of things, different sort of teams. I have even worked with Likita as the cultural secretary in first year, so I'm not having a problem working with different people.
Next question is, you mentioned all these issues like library, water and all of these things, and even your manifesto in the washrooms, mess and all. These are issues that have been in our college for the past few years. Every council, every candidate promises about these issues and then they don't get resolved or they only get addressed so much. And then you also mentioned a line in your manifesto that says outcomes depend on multiple stakeholders.
Yes, ma'am.
So are you already safely saying that if nothing is happened, like you do nothing for any of these issues, we shouldn't question you and it's the stakeholders' fault? Who are these stakeholders?
Before that, there were also lines that I will be here to consistently give the follow-up. I will be following the problems and the outcome depends on them, but I will be involved in getting the things done.
Yeah, so what are you going to do differently that the past 3 councils haven't done to address these issues that have been here for the past 4-5 years?
Past councils have just started the problem. The problem lacking was execution and follow-up now. So that is the thing I would like to focus.
Okay. My last question to you will be, you've mentioned that you will organize a protest in your manifesto.
Yes.
So are we to safely assume that your solution to every problem will be to call people miss classes, sit under sunscreen slogans and hope for a solution?
Not for everything, but problems which really require a protest. And hostel issue is such an important thing since it's dangerous to their life.
Okay, but do you think organizing a protest is going to give you a solution or is it just a redundant measure?
I had mentioned that it's just to create the awareness. Like the protest is for awareness and also for the solution.
People aren't aware of what happened.
Ma'am, if people are aware, then why isn't it solving it?
Exactly, so that's where you step in as the vice president. No, if you're again going to protest for awareness, what are you doing for a solution to that problem?
Only when people are aware, they will be standing with us to protest. So, yeah, that's the solution. Like speaking individually, I don't think things can be done. So, for things like this, we need to stand together. Like,
just one question.
Yes.
Yesterday, our media team, Karthikeyan, has interviewed you, and you are in alliance with Anusha, as already mentioned. Anusha has clearly denied that we haven't said anything regarding protest. We will not protest. She has given a statement, we have the recording. Now you are saying that you will stage a protest. There is no cooperation between you two, or what is this? I am not understanding.
To reiterate, sir, the question from Karthikeyan was, ma'am, did you mention it was not about your alliance?
Okay, so she didn't mention.
Yeah. That was a part of my manifesto. Any more questions?
Yeah, you mentioned about junior senior program.
Yeah.
Can you please, for the benefit of everyone, and for me, please one time can you repeat that? I was. Is it similar to the mentorship? How is it different? We had a mentorship thing before. Adiko idiko enna differences? What is it?
Basically, to interact with your seniors and faculty interact
with the faculty. So அதே மென்டர்ஷிப் ப்ரோக்ராமை திருப்பி ரிவைவ் பண்ணுற மாதிரி பிளான். ஸோ ஐ மீன் for the most part the culture in our college between seniors and juniors is mostly harmless. It's mostly there's not much negative things going on. But how would you in the event of this program, what if something happens in this program which is not savory, which is not nice, which is you know the R word, ragging? What if something like that happens? What will you do?
I don't think ragging, like, it's a culture in our college.
It's not. I completely agree. But what if there might be one or two bad eggs? No, what will you do for those eggs?
And that is
There comes a feedback from someone saying that I am being ragged. What will be your response?
and that's what the team itself is for, sir. So quickly a team will be formed and the problem will be addressed.
Problem will be addressed.
Yeah.
How will you address that problem? Avladhan. Simple.
It depends on the problem.
Ragging is the problem. Someone is saying that they are being ragged. What will be your action?
First, we need to inquire, like, is it legitimate, the allegation is legitimate or not.
Legitimate.
Then we need to interact with both the parties and we need to solve the problem accordingly.
How is that question? We don't want blanket answers. We just want you to say, this is what I will do, or at least give 1, 2, 3 responses. No, I will do any one of these.
Like, it is grave, like, required punishment can be given, sir.
What punishment?
As per the, like, what are the rules are there.
What are the rules? Have you not gone through the rules?
The anti-ragging committee is there for that, sir. Like, legally, I don't know.
We have some questions from our faculty advisor and our returning officer. Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of the incident that has occurred?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, are you aware of an incident that has occurred previously?
Yes, ma'am, being a first, very aware.
Yeah. So, what was the protocol done?
Ma'am, so first up, anybody was set up and a team was formed.
By whom?
By the anti-ragging committee.
Isn't it? So, what is your role as a vice president was the question.
Yes,
So, what are you going to do?
As a vice president, I will be the first point of approach. So I would like proceed with what are the.
Are you going to conduct an inquiry, or what is it? This is the knowledge. What knowledge you have about this? As a VP of the student council.
I don't think VP is, like, directly involved in the committee and all. So it is just here for coordination and execution.
Okay.
But you are circulating a feedback form, right? After circulating feedback form, you cannot say that this does not come under my purview. Then you should clearly state in the feedback form, fill this form only for these kind of problems.
No, sir, anonymous form is for anything.
Then you cannot say that does not come under the purview of me.
It is, the solution is not part of that, sir. Like, addressing the thing is our thing, but.
How will you understand the kicker? We are not
This has to be brought to the immediate notice of the anti-ragging committee. So that is the point we would like to clarify here. As a president, like vice president, as soon as the issue has come to you, you have to just brought into the notice of anti-ragging committee immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the first thing.
That's what I said. I'll be the first point of contact. And I will be.
You will be the first point, but you don't have to discuss what has happened, who has done, what has happened. Those things are all not comes
that's
under
part
your
of the
purview. You can
committee.
just directly brought
Passing on
information.
things to higher officials.
Yes, as a mediator.
Yes.
Actually, there are anti-ragging officers directly appointed to the council by the patron. Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir. Anti-ragging officers are appointed by
Okay. As per the constitution itself, it is stated that any incident of ragging, the anti-ragging officer has to directly report it to the college administration. VP, president or nobody has any role in it. It is an administrative matter. So whenever you receive a complaint immediately, if at all it is anonymous, nothing can be done because you don't have a name. If at all somebody has reported to you, you have to immediately report it to the administration, the anti-ragging committee.
Yes.
Okay? This is for everybody. Please don't make this mistake. And you should not say that ragging is a culture in our college. It is very wrong, and I'm not agreeing with it. We have.
It's not a culture.
It's not a culture. Okay. I'm generally saying nobody has to utter things like that. It's a very sensitive matter. So please, whenever you are talking, leave out the thing. Answer properly. Answer cautiously.
Right, so that will be the questions from our side. Now we'll have questions from the other candidates, rebuttals from the other candidates.
Like any questions?
Only questions.
Only questions
Only
from
questions
the
based on his speech. Only questions based on his speech. Are there any questions from anyone?
We request you to be to the point, just the question alone.
Can someone take the mic?
Am I audible at the last?
Could you like inform them?
Hello. So you mentioned previously that you'd like to post updates on what's happening in council, circles regarding council on Instagram. Yes. So if someone doesn't have a set platform and he wants to follow up on what's happening in the college, how do you like to represent
For that, it's being circulated in WhatsApp also for the same purpose.
I think you could have mentioned that.
Okay, we'll have no follow-up. So just a question and an answer. Got your answer. Are there any other rebuttals from the other candidates regarding any questions? Okay.
I also said that it will be a one-person research. If you want, you can get it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your response. Now, finally for Cyril, we'll have audience questioning. Do we have any questions from the audience for Cyril?
Any questions from the audience?
Anyone? No. No. Okay. Thank you so much, Cyril. Well spoken. So we'll move on to our next candidate, who in roll number order would be Hemant.
Respected faculty members, members of the Election Commission, the moderators, my fellow students, and dear friends, a very good morning. I am Hemant, here standing as your Vice President candidate in this student council elections. I stand before you today not just as a candidate, but as someone who truly cares deeply and personally about the day-to-day experiences of being a student here. Not from a distance, not as a third person or an observer, but as one among you and who has faced the same issues, the same frustrations, and the same hope that solutions might appear at some point of time. And that's exactly why I'm here. Because I don't just want change. I care to work for it relentlessly. If there's one thing that you guys would want to hear out from me today, it is this: approachable, accountable, and action-driven. These are the three things in which I don't just say, but I work for it. Approachable. That you don't need to, you never will have to feel unheard about any solution, be it small or large. If it matters for you, it matters for you. You have every right to come and ask it, or have a discussion with them about it. Accountable means I will not stop at listening. I will take ownership, I will follow through it, and I will ensure that concerns doesn't disappear, and ensure that transparent updates and consistent follow-ups are made. And most importantly, action-driven. We move forward with actions consistently, visibly, and with intent. Because this is not just some role. This is something in which I am deeply invested in. Okay? But along with passion for this role, I would also like to add something else. Experience. Because without experience, this post is just some random position. But with experience, it becomes into leadership. Over the past few years, I have served in this council in variety of positions, starting from channel representative who have been addressing the concerns of my batch for the past 3 years, worked with the Vicenders organizing team as the organizing secretary, which was the biggest inter-college academic event happening in our college. There were 1,200+
students involved in it, 15 plus workshops and 7 plus scientific events. Followed by I've been part of multiple other organizing committees such as for other culturals and sports events. These roles don't just say that they are just titles. They are there to make sure that to give me an idea how systems work, where do they fail, and how to address them if they go wrong. Now, and this is what I bring. Not just intent, but proper practical understanding. And I am not alone in this. I am joined with P.V. Sailigita, my alliance under the Wormfire Alliance. So, under the Wormfire Alliance. So, we don't just bring in, ideas. We bring in balance, coordination, and proper dynamic within each other and make sure that the solutions are arrived as early as possible. So, if I get elected, what will be you can ask me, what will be your immediate action plans? So, in the first place, we want to address some real issues, like, reliable access to safe drinking water and double tops in all the venues near the college area, followed by a proper, proper restroom facility with properly maintained urinals, and followed by extended library space. It is currently from 8 AM to 4 AM we are unable to use it, but now I will make sure it will be used from 8 AM until 9 PM. It remains open until the way it used to be. A proper grievance portal with defined response timelines. Other things have been mentioned in my manifesto as well. I would like to just highlight some important points. Under academics and student convenience, ensure that proper ODs are being implemented for inter-college programs. Better coordination to resolve timetable related issues. Make sure that holidays are being provided as soon as possible from the administration. And from for the hostel, we would want to ensure consistent maintenance of essential facilities, improve the structural integrity of the hostel, functional study spaces within the hostel to make sure it is easy for students there, and representation for practical and everyday concerns. Over the past few years, I have learned this. Change doesn't happen over a period of time, and just because some people say right things. It happens when when the person understands it, when a person stays committed to it and ensures that the result comes at a particular point of time. And so, I would like to conclude by saying that if you want someone who is approachable when you need support, accountable in order to raise concerns, and action driven when it comes to results, I ask for your trust, I ask for your support, and I ask for your vote. Thank you for your time and patience.
Throughout your speech, I could see that there were a lot of applauses, and also there were a lot of people who were constantly walking and leaving. So, is it boring, or how will you handle these kind of inside a classroom? You are not able to control everyone who is sitting here. How would you exert your control as a VP over the entire institute?
Actually, we are only sending people to get this
The whole point of this vice president question is not to exert control. That is such an improper statement. We will have to ensure that my role as a VP is to just provide coordination. It's basically I will have to function like how the medical superintendent of a medical college functions for this medical college. Medical superintendent ensures that proper coordination, execution happens of all the committees and cells that are under my position. I will have to ensure that that happens properly and not to exert control. I only have supervisory roles. I don't need to exert control in order to provide anything.
Let's say your band is performing in an event and some people are standing here and they are shouting. Now what is your take on this?
Sorry, sir?
Let's say your band is performing during an event and a lot of students are standing in the middle and they are shouting, which obviously disturbs the entire audience who is listening to it. In that situation, how would you coordinate?
If it's really concerning for all the audience, I would like to pause my performance, address it in front of the stage and inform students. Sorry?
No, I said your band is performing.
Yes.
You may be performing, you may not be performing. Your band is performing.
Yes, sir. It doesn't matter.
When your band is performing, will you are passing your performance is different from your band is passing the performance. So
there is no you, I.
No. It is not about play of words. What I'm trying to say is when one team is performing and students are making noise, your ideal solution is ask the team to stop.
Sir, I would not want the team to stop, but if it is disturbing the team's performance, I will step in and I will.
You will. What is the question?
So I will step in. I will ask them to pause the performance and request students.
So that is the solution you are bringing. So if students are creating disturbance, the one who is performing should stop. Like if I am taking class, if my students are making noise, I should stop. That is what you are conveying? That is the kind of leadership people are expecting?
So, but if the performers are getting disturbed and the audience are not able to grasp what we are performing, there is no point in performing there. So, we need to ensure that the people who are performing in the band are provided the stage in which they are able to perform properly, and at the same time the audience are able to reciprocate and respond to the band that is being performed there and enjoy the performance as a whole.
I don't want explanation, I'm just reiterating, like that is what you are trying to do. When something happens, so the one who is performing should stop. That is what is your stand.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now the next question. You are forming an alliance with Likita, right? Now let's say Anusha and other people like you kind of come into some arrangement between you people, and they say that we will elect one from your team and one from, like, let us all plan together and split vote amongst ourselves. So we will choose either the president or vice president from our side, and from your side also one. So given that, who would you pick? Like you or Likita? Like one of you can get elected, and from the other alliances, one of them will get elected. Now it will be you or Likita and one.
So, I would not want to proceed to this step in the first place.
No, that is the question. Under the circumstances that my vote last particular people have decided, they say that, see, we also want to do good to the students, you also want to do good to the students. Why not one from our side and one from your side? Let us team up together. So let you or Likita, one of you give up the position. From our side also, one of us will give up, and we can form a team. That is the question. So in that case, who would you choose? You or Likita, and what will be the reason?
I don't have a response.
Some questions related to your manifesto.
Yes.
And you said you proposed to extend the girls' hostel in time from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Can you enlighten us on that? What is that?
Yes, sir. So this has been a long time concern ever since we have joined college from first year. We have been seeing that the hostel time used to be, for the first year, it is used to be at 6 p.m.
Is it first years or first year girls?
First year girls. Sorry.
Be clear, no?
Yes, yeah, first year girls hostel numbers. So they have been having this issue of having in time of say 8, very short in time, so that they will not be able to buy even the essential things that they want to go outside and get, or for that matter just to spend some time outside the college for their own personal relaxation, which they have not been able to do. So for this reason, we would like to extend the time period from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and we have
You have mentioned for girls hostel from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Boys hostel?
Boys hostel?
No, I don't know. I am not in hostel. That's why I asked you to enlighten. If it is 8 to 9 p.m. for girls, what is currently for boys? Is the question.
So currently for the boys, it's mentioned as 10 p.m.
Then why are you proposing as 9 p.m. for girls? You know that for boys it is 10 p.m. and why are you proposing in a manifesto that it will be 9 p.m. for institute is forcing them to be there inside by 8 p.m. and you are forcing them to be there before 9 p.m. Why?
Sir, we would like to first start with a increasing extension step by step. First from
who are we to start with for what is their freedom?
So the college administration has posed this.
College administration has done something, but you are also repeating the same, right? That's my question. See, if I frame it as 8 to 9, I can be excused because I don't know what is there for boys. You clearly know that it is 10 p.m. for boys, and then you frame that 9 p.m. for girls. That is my question. It is not about 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and all. You know that it is 10 there, why is 9 here is my question. And one similar 9 p.m. was there, library access till 9 p.m. Why is it 9 p.m. if I want to read at 10 o'clock?
Sir, first
library, why are you keeping it till 9 p.m. if I want to read after 9 p.m.?
Sir, we would want to bring the steps in progressively. It doesn't have to immediately. That we don't want to extend it to a.
I understand, but I'm just trying to figure out what went behind making this decision of 9 p.m.? Like, how was this 9 p.m. arrived? That is the question. Like, did you take consensus from people, or you yourself chose it as 9 p.m.?
So we took. Sir, we have.
Basically, I'm trying to assess how the manifesto was formed. Like, was it based on consensus from people, or you just thought this will be appropriate?
So this was selected based on the consensus of number of students who have been using the library for studying purposes, and they have said that we would like to have an extension of at least 1 hour from this time period, so that you will be able to read until 9 p.m. and then go back.
I have many more questions, but I will restrict myself to one small question. Not a very serious one. You have mentioned ensured adherence to TNMGR University circulars regarding holidays. So now I am confused. Like, are we not giving holidays which are announced by TNMGR?
So there was this confusion between the second year timetable and the third and fourth year timetable. The second year and first year.
It's not a confusion, right? Second year timetable is given by MGR University, and third and final is according to ESIC, so faculty is given. No, my question is ensure adherence to TNMGR circulars regarding holidays, which means are they not adhering to TNMGR circular regarding holidays is the question.
So very recently they were not able to, they did not adhere to the dates that were given.
Which one?
Mahavir Jayanti that was proposed recently, according to our ESIC schedule, it was mentioned that it is a restricted holiday. But then all across Tamil Nadu, it was given as a state holiday for all the government medical colleges, except our college, except from ESIC. So we had to show them the actual government gazette stating that a holiday has been declared across all the state government medical colleges, and then we had to secure the holiday.
But ours is not a state government medical college, right?
So, but if we come under Tamil Nadu,
let's say we have holiday for Holi. Tamil Nadu government medical colleges, they don't get holiday for Holi, but instead we get. JIPMER gets, AIIMS gets, ESI gets. What is your take on this?
So we are a central government institute, but under TNMGRU.
We want holidays of central as well as state.
So wherever we are able to get holidays, we will take it.
I have a few questions. So you are part of the Wormfire Alliance, and your justification of your alliance is a rapid change. Adukana fire nu sollirukeenga, correct? Now when he asked you about the timings and all the promises you've made in your manifesto, you said we want to do it step by step and gradually. What are we to expect? Rapid change or step by step gradual change, which is just equivalent to avlo change won't happen and it will move on to the next council?
So we have mentioned in our manifesto itself, it is not about rapid transformation, it is both steady and transformative as well as bold and immediate. So we will gauge the problem accordingly and take a stance.
Okay, just to avoid any confusion, you given me 4 adjectives. Give me one adjective to describe what your alliance is going to do. And if it's steady, just give me one thing which you think is the definition of your alliance and how you will work.
The definition of alliance is consistency. We will ensure the consistency is our primary measure. We will ensure that the problem that we are addressing will be solved and will be given a conclusion, and we will not stop until that conclusion is arrived at.
But what will be the pace of your problem solving? Because you promised one pace, but here when you were speaking, you gave us another pace. Your pace of problem solving, what are we to expect?
You told us steady, transformative, something immediate. Steady or immediate? That's all. Which one?
In order to take immediate actions, we will have to.
We
will have to go steady.
Sorry.
Okay.
While timeline, then what is the first thing you'll advise? At least you have plans for that.
My will hear you.
Wow. Regarding the change, whether we study, could we expect some silence, please? Okay. So again, regarding your pace, be it steady or steady transformation or rapid transformation. So do you course of plan on what you will be addressing first? In the next 30 days or so, what would you be addressing first? What would be rapid and what would be steady?
Okay, thank you, Jane. So in the first phase, we would like to act on impact on things that impact us daily. For example, this library time extension is the first thing that we will be working on definitely to ensure that students who want to study, even posters, whoever wants to study can study. So it's not, they should not be keeping the library closed just because some students are not utilizing it in the proper way. That is the first thing I will be addressing. Followed by proper access to safe drinking water through bubble tops or water coolers that need to be made available, because especially during summer season, we need to ensure that proper water facilities are available for us to drink. And followed by that, we will make sure that this grievance system that we are talking about will be made strong, and we will ensure that we will get our first round of grievances within a short period of time. That is the main thing that we will do.
Candidate, you've been giving promises not only in a manifesto, even right now. All you've been doing is that you will ensure something, that you will make it happen. We want a standard operating procedure, an SOP. How are you going to do it?
Thank you, Tim, for that question. So we have a proper grievances redressal SOP. If you want, I will submit it to you.
One second, please be quiet, guys.
We have a proper grievance redressal SOP that is ready in hand with us right now. If you want, we will definitely transfer it and have a look at it. I'll just try to explain it in brief. So let's say a student faces issue within the college campus or within the hostel, anywhere it is. First, the complaint is submitted via the grievance redressal system, either through online form or via direct submission. Okay.
Guys, it wouldn't be fair if we are, very distracted during one candidate's speech and, not distracted during another candidate's speech. If we can just let him finish and then we can, get our food and have it, it'll be decent, I think. Please do cooperate. There's a person taking his time and effort to answer some questions here. And it's our questions, it's not people here's questions, okay? Please do give your time and respect.
So as far as the grievance redressal SOP is there, we have prepared a proper standard operating procedure wherein, for example, let's say a student faces an issue. He will be submitting complaint through direct submission or via an online form that will be preparing, followed by a centralized collection under the grievance cell. We will ensure we will put the complaints together and then categorize them into 4 major categories. Either it's academic, hostel related, infrastructure related, and other cultural sports events related, into 4 categories, and assign them to relevant authority. So I will be, the grievance will be looking into it and assigning it to the separate authority. For example, if it's something related to the cultural events, it will be addressed by the cultural secretary. Academics, academic secretary, and various other committee heads will be, it will be posted to various other committee heads. Followed by which there will be a timeline assigned for the SOP to be, for the action to be taken. It will be 48 hours, it will take 48 hours. We will take 48 hours for the complaint to be acknowledged and make sure that initial action is taken within 7 days of the complaint being received. Followed by that, we will have a follow-up tracking system where I myself personally will look into all the problems, because I am being a committee member of the grievance cell, not the head, but I am being the committee member of the grievance cell. Will make sure that I will look into the grievances that are being posed and ensure that the backlog is being checked up and is being cleared off within the 7 days, and initial action is being taken within 7 days of initial period of time. Followed by that, if the problem is being unresolved, we will take to escalation. Escalation means it will be taken into the council for discussion and make sure that escalation, if unresolved, we will take it to the council for discussion and make sure that we will be addressing it to all the council members, or else we will be taking it to the faculty advisors that have been assigned in the council. Finally, if none of these solutions have worked and the problem remains unresolved, we will take it to the patron, which is our Dean of this medical college. If the resolution has been communicated to the student, if the problem has been found out, then the resolution will be communicated to the student. And finally, whatever problem has been done and whatever resolution has been taken will be added as a part of your monthly agenda and be discussed as a monthly agenda, and will be added as a point when we are discussing in our general council meeting that will be happening every month.
Okay, thank you for explaining how you would handle a grievance, how you would handle your early studies. I have a question for you. You mentioned that you were class representative, general representative, everything. You were class representative since, I believe, according to my information, since first year until very recently when you stepped down. Why did you step down as class representative? And depending on your answer, I'd like to find out. Why did you step down?
I had
had been class representative from year 2024 until the current year 2026 until the month of February. Due to personal reasons, I had stepped down. Like at that time, due to some serious personal reasons which I had to step down.
Then no.
Yeah.
And are you sure that after stepping down somewhat recently, now you're back in contention for a role with even more responsibility as vice president? Are you sure that you'll be able to handle that role when you stepped down recently from a role of class representative and general representative? Are you sure you can handle it?
As I said, I had stepped down from the role of class representative because of some serious personal reasons that I have, personal issues that I had.
You don't need to tell us about
Yeah.
that's
So-
not what we're asking. Can you handle it or not?
The experiences and the working that I have done as class representative, I have made sure that I have done so, like, you know, multiple, address various concerns, made sure that I have been part, I have worked in the system, and I have found out what are the important things that are there. And to answer your question whether I will be able to take this leadership seriously, as I had told in the beginning of my speech, the three things that you want to take from me today is I will be approachable, accountable, and action driven, and that will remain the same whichever post I take and whichever position that I will be taking for myself, and ensure that this is not just some promise, but this is my work ethic, this is my work dynamic, and this is what I will make sure that I will be bringing to this council, and ensure that I will put this into action and ensure that results are yielded out.
Well spoken. Thank you.
In continuation to that question, this is pertaining to the council functioning. You're standing for the position of vice president, right? And so you've been class representative for more than a year. And your alliance president candidate has also been class representative. So within the council, there are places where the vice president and the president will have to decide how decisions are even being made. A lot of that power vests in you when there are differences in opinions and we have to sort out problems within the council. So what guarantee are you giving the student body that you and your president won't monopolize the council when it comes to decision making, or are you promising you will be a neutral vice president if you have to take a stand between the council and your president?
Thank you, ma'am. So, even though we have multiple roles of decision making as vice president and president itself, we have the work dynamic from the past few years as class representatives. We know that is our work dynamic. We know how we both work with each other, and we know that any problem that we have faced earlier as class representatives or general representatives, when we are there in our batch, we have ensured that we always maintain a single unified decision. We always come out with a single decision, and we will never ever, have difference of opinions at all. We will make sure first we will discuss within ourselves and ensure that we come up with a standard opinion. Followed by that will not remain as a single opinion and will be discussed with the council and further discussion with the general student body as well. So only when we will come to that.
I understand you have a dynamic where you both will arrive at a decision. I am saying when it's between the council and what you both think, will you be the neutral vice president who will take the council's opinion also equally, or will you be the person who has made a decision with your president, so you will be biased towards that?
I will take a decision that is neutral to the council and my president both.
So you are promising that even though you will be part of an alliance,
Yes.
you will be for the council
Yes.
as vice president?
Yes.
Okay. My next question is, you've mentioned about cells. And as vice president, you will be heading communication, you will be heading the cells in the council. Do you know what cells there are in the council?
Your sports committee, followed by the cells that are there, your media cell and the grievance cell that is there.
We also have a finance cell.
The finance cell is headed by the president.
But it is part of the council.
Yeah.
In your manifesto, you've mentioned that you'll introduce a finance cell. In both your manifestos, you've mentioned that you're going to introduce a finance cell. We already have a finance cell in the constitution. So there are cells that you have missed, and there are cells where you have misinterpreted if they're there or not. So are we to assume mistakes like this will continue happening even once you're elected to power?
What?
We know that there is a finance committee that's being headed, that is there already in the
Finance
council.
cell in the constitution.
Yes, finance
But
committee.
you've also promised you're going to introduce a finance. Is this separate from the council, or did you not realize that there's a cell and so you mentioned it?
We know that there is a committee that is already being there as a finance committee within the student council, and we know that who is heading it, who are the committee members, we know that.
So then what is your finance cell that you're going to introduce going to do?
That seems to be a typo from our end. We will apologize for it.
Candidate, do you know what the financial currently does? The current existing
The
financial.
current existing financial handles the student council account. We currently do not have an account, but this finance committee currently they do not have any work as of now, because the student council, we don't have a legitimate student council account as of now. And so what they do is basically for all the events that are being happening within our college, we will make sure that the proper budget is being placed, how the money is being spent, how the money is being distributed, and to have proper financial audit that is happening for each and every event, and make sure that every penny is considered accountable.
So the candidate does know the working of the financial and having experience. And has experience of being your batch representative, your class representative for so long. How is it that this error happened despite knowing the workings of the financial and being involved in the council decision making for so long?
This is a typo, and
I'd just like to end this discussion by clarifying that you mentioned that the financial currently has no work, which is not true. The current financial has been handling budgets of all the college events. We have been making sure.
I just said that.
No, but you also said the current cell has, because there's no bank account, there's no work in the money.
The work that I mentioned was the council also does not have an account, and other tiny workings they are not doing it as an account. Otherwise, the auditing, whatever events that are happening, that has been consistently being done by the already existing finance committee, and we will continue to do that or make it better.
Okay, we have one last question, then we move on to rebuttals from the other candidates.
So this is a very simple question. So for how many years have you and Likita ma'am been in the council till now? Like you have stated that thrice or four times in your speech. Like I just want to confirm it. From the year 2000.
From the year 2024 to 2026.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Sorry.
And in the manifesto, in the manifesto and both in your speech, you said about a number of changes that you propose. So when we compare these two questions, one question that arises is change from what basically then? We've seen Hemant and Likita from 2024 to 2026, and you're proposing a number of changes after you've been in the council for 2 years. What exactly is changing then? What changed from what? We cannot change from Hemant and Likita to Hemant and Likita, right?
So as general representatives, we have been instrumental in providing or giving addressing the concerns that the students have been facing from our batches, and have been conveying it consistently to all the council members. But now, when we get elected as vice president and president, we will get involved directly into the decision making and make sure that this process gets completed as soon as possible within the stipulated period of time. That is what is the change that we can expect from this statement and this meeting.
Thank you. We are now open to rebuttals. Due to shortage of time, we request the candidates keep it crisp, straight to the question.
Mike.
So this is meant to be a follow-up to the question the moderator asked prior to this. If it comes to like choosing between the council and the president, who do you choose? You consistently mentioned that you have a good rapport with Likita and you figure it out, you guys will figure it out again. Let's say the presidential candidate is the other presidential candidate had come up on the stage and it's not your alliance, so technically, how do you proceed with that?
Yeah, this
Even
is a question.
another
Actually, we've already asked this question, so we don't want repetition. You have a different question?
If you have a different question that you want to ask, you can ask it.
So Hemant, you've been a class representative for so long, and you've also represented us in the council. And last year, I experienced an issue with online harassment. What was your role in mediating it as a representative in the council?
Okay. So, as a general representative within the council, I had personally gone and informed about this in the council that such a problem has been happening. I had escalated this within the council and made sure that your concern was heard from my batch, such that you are being faced with this difficulty, and I had made sure this had been escalated. So my role there, I had done it.
Okay. Audience. Cyril have a question.
Hemant, you have been stressing on the thing that you are accountable, and you have very good coordination with Nikita. Like,
Mic, can you turn on the mic?
Hemant, you have been saying that you have been accountable and like you have good coordination with Nikita. I would like to make the audience aware that I guess in second year, these two people were dismissed as the class reps. Can you elaborate on that? Like only for the OBJ department, okay? And now currently Sridhar is working as the rep for OBJ department. Like that was due to a problem in improper communication and coordination. Like how will you?
Thank you, Cheryl. So, we were not dismissed. I would like to clarify the fact that we were not dismissed. That is a completely misleading statement. We were not dismissed from the positions of classes from the department of OBG. We wanted to, the OBG department required special requirements to make sure that every concern of because the OBG department has been putting a lot of concerns and a lot of components that they want to do with our batch as far as teachings are concerned, and we felt that when having an extra hand or a lending hand with us would help us to improve the coordination with the OBG department. That's why Sridharan was there with us. It does not mean that the OBG department had dismissed us. We were still, when the last time when we were there at Charter we made sure that the OBG department stays in contact, and we still had we were still reporting to them as class reps.
I think one follow-up can be allowed for that because if the president, I mean, if the VP can't coordinate with another group, would you ask someone to do the one by one? But that's such a wide question. Can we just have the marks and nothing last time?
Any audience questions?
Good morning, sir. I believe you were the class rep for the past 3 years, sir. So you told that you kind of feel that you will be able to handle this position because you have had an experience of being a rep for the 3 years, right? And you also told that change is gradual, right? So progressively you will add things up. So assuming that for a newly elected candidate who is assuming there is a newly elected candidate and they don't know the dynamics as such, so would you actually guide them or will you be will you put them down?
Thank you, Varsha. So if a newly elected candidate comes up and joins along with me, it is my duty and my responsibility to make sure that they also understand the workings of the council and make sure that they work with me and partner with me and ensure that the council runs well. But in return, I would need their support and coordination as well. It does not mean that it does not mean that I am the only person who should be working there. I can help them teach, I can help them understand the process, I can help them move along. But then I also want their support back. Because without their support, I will not be able to run the council single-handed.
Yes, assuming that, and if you are not getting the support from either of the newly elected candidates, both the male and the female CR, assuming that, and but I kind of realized that you kind of told a statement that I'll be better off in academics than being a CR. So, what is your reply to that?
When was the statement posted?
Yeah, no, so basically it was I was newly elected as such, and we didn't know the dynamics, not the previous CRs, neither of them guided us, and we were new to this. So yeah, and I'm just saying this is not because of personal grudge or something like that. I'm just concerned that if that happened to me as a newly elected CR who was completely new, and then I'm concerned that it might happen to the other CRs. Now that you're not just a general rep, if you are going to be promoted as a VP.
Thank you, Varsha. So, elected as a new CR, in your case, from our side, what we expect is to have if you're getting this post or if you're getting elected into such a post, you should be in a position to go and understand how this process works, because you are the person who's getting elected. You should start getting aware of the process. You cannot just stand and say that I don't know what it is. Initially, you can say that I am new to this process and I don't know much. I don't have experience much about this. You can approach people. Your previous CRs are your examples. You can go and ask them. You can ask them what is the process. You can go and ask them. Aren't they your communicators?
Yes, I do not understand that. But the thing is, if you're going to address an issue, you have to address it personally. Like, see, my class has a reputable look up to me, right? So if you're going to talk like that, and also both the CRs were like equal, like we were equally if responsible for that like lack of communication. Why just point me? That's the question.
Last follow-up.
Last
Okay.
follow-up.
You
Where
get
else
to
you can ask?
respond.
You can choose to give mic.
Yeah, so the problem that was addressed at that time was due to lack of coordination, in spite of several requests or conditions stating that the information to your batch, to Reverians, was not being conveyed through the representatives. Was a constant complaint that we were getting from your batchmates saying எங்களுக்கு information that episode சொல்ல மாட்டாங்க was the complaint that we got. Another problem was that our cultures were being conducted in a very short span of time, and the actual problem that was there was we were not getting any. First things first, we were not getting any logo from your batch. The logo wasn't being designed at that point of time. We were giving repeated requests saying நீங்க கொடுங்க ஆரம்பிக்கிறோம் program கொடுத்தா தான் நாம ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணனும் கொஞ்சம் அட்ரஸ் பண்ணி சொல்லுங்க. This was not a first off straight up bashing. This was I had not even uttered any derogatory term per se, and in spite of several warnings when this had happened, we had come to address in the batch only about this, and that's what we did.
That's enough.
Thank you.
Sir, in your manifesto, you specifically mentioned restoring the girls' gym. Did you know there's a boys' gym also non-functional in the hostel?
Yes, we know that the boys' gym has not been functional as well. We have received.
So why was it not mentioned in the manifesto? Like, this raises a concern, right? If you are elected vice president and as a day scholar, us hostlers are concerned about whether you will give equal attention to the hostlers.
Presuming it is a typo, I would want to address both girls and the boys hostel. It is not about just girls hostel. It's definitely about the girls and the boys hostel. The concerns of both the hostels will be addressed appropriately. Thank you.
We have one question.
Yeah.
Our mic's not working.
Pass it next.
On the button, man, like push it up.
Hemant, I genuinely appreciate your efforts towards the council, and as you were our class representative for many years. I just want to ask you one thing, two things actually. You just mentioned about the Vicenders success event, right? And I think Vicenders event was not only organized by you both guys, it was a batch event. And as of that, separate heads were organized, right? So I don't think the credibility of Vicenders being a successful event doesn't like only stick to you both guys. It sticks to the whole batch. It's Zenedians win, right? And one more thing is, can you like say, you said consistency, you maintain consistency and you said that point. Did you maintain transparency? Can you tell
Please
me
elaborate on what point the transparency wasn't provided to you?
Siri, you were attending council meetings, right? Did you anytime come into the whole class in front of everyone and spoke out what was the discussion in the council?
The minutes of meeting were properly sent to your WhatsApp groups, and it was sent by our...
Did you ask anyone what they felt about it?
Grievance settle systems are there for that reason, right?
Yeah, that is what I am saying. If you are elected as a VP in this elections, so should we expect that you will do the same, or like you will maintain, like I actually have a question, like how will you maintain transparency? I know grievance cell is there, but still it's your work even as a class representative to represent your whole batch into the council. And I know you are representing, but I think many of our batchmates didn't felt that they were representable.
Thank you, Anusha. So if you guys were in the council meeting properly, you would have definitely known what we're doing there. Due to lack of presence of you there. We are not sure that whether you have not known what you are actually doing within the council. We make sure that there are proper joint secretaries who are taking minutes of the meeting agenda that has been properly placed. Every issue has been discussed with respect to each and every single batch, and we make sure that the minutes of the meeting are being properly and promptly sent to all the batches groups via WhatsApp, and make sure that, and it is we can make the horse to the pond. We can't expect the horse to drink. We can't expect the horse to drink the water. So it is your duty and responsibility to ensure that you are reading the minutes of the meeting and make sure that you are getting aware about it. So lack of awareness is not my concern per se. Thank you.
Could you just repeat what you said at the end again?
Sorry?
Last sentence. This is, you're addressing your batch because she came, she represented the question to you as a member of the batch.
Yes.
Could you repeat the last line again for the batch to hear?
We had represented in the council.
Could you repeat what you said?
The last
Words that you said verbatim, can you repeat that?
Addressing your batch.
It is your duty to make sure that you are aware of the council proceedings. We will be instrumental in providing information about the council meetings promptly. We will ensure
Let's
that
keep
happens.
this very crisp. Let's not paraphrase and beat around the bush.
Yes.
I will remind you what your last words were. You said lack of awareness is not my concern. What is that supposed to mean?
Okay.
As someone contesting for vice presidential post, you can't say a lack of awareness in the student bodies.
The
You are
question
head
that
of
was-
communication.
The question that was being posed to me shows their lack of. I did not mean that it is my lack. It shows their lack of concern.
Yeah, so how are you
And
going to address
now
that?
it is my duty to ensure that they get aware about it, and I will make sure that now. Earlier also I had been instrumental in doing that, and now I will make sure that this is being put into force more strongly and more promptly than ever before.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have the next candidate, please?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Ibtisam, and it's very unusual to start an opening statement like this. I almost didn't consider to stand as a candidate. It's not because I lack conviction. I have never held a council seat before. It's because I know what it's like to be sidelined in decision making and being told directly or indirectly that it's not my turn to lead. So I'm not going to talk about myself today. With no alliance, no group to support me, all I have is a plan. There are indeed many promises to deliver. The first one I do is improve the mechanism of reporting, accountability and transparency. I would like to introduce letter boxes with locks in one of the places in the college where you can directly put your grievance letters, and you will be receiving an acknowledgement that the letter has been received, and the 30-day time limit will be set from the date of receiving your letter to address your concerns. And to ensure that the student body is aware of the workings of the council, because as a head of the media cell, it's very important that you know what is exactly happening. So the grievance cell, anti-ragging officers and faculty advisors will formally address every batch and paste a poster in front of the classroom once the council commences to let you know where the letter box is and what all you can address to us. The only formal output students have is the annual report at the year's end. I would like to convert it into a mid-year review. To transparently communicate what was discussed, engaging videos on social media will be made with the minutes of meeting, and who will be responsible for any decisions which was made, and also proper justification as to why any meeting was considered closed doors will also be posted online. And as the head of the media cell, it's extremely important for me to increase the online safety. So the media secretary will, along with me, will oversee the digital safety, misuse of digital platforms by our students, and they will report it to the grievance cell immediately, and action will be taken. According to infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure in our college, like the common areas, have been converted into storage places. Students need third places in college where they can come together, discuss club events and so on. So I really want to create third places in the college, And food safety audits need to be conducted regularly with faculty in charges of general medicine, microbiology department, and any faculty from the community medicine department. For mental health support, I propose the formation of a mental health cell which will conduct surveys every 3 months to look into causes of mental health issues. And we also want to introduce a buddy program where students will be trained to become student listeners, because it is a little uncomfortable to approach seniors with every problem you have. But if you can approach your own trained students from your own batch you're comfortable with, it's going to be a lot easier to handle mental health issues in our college. And for academic support and career development, a career advisory cell is being proposed by me, co-chaired by the VP and academic secretary and the joint secretary to maintain minutes of meeting. We will have an external member, an alumni advisor, a PG student advisor, faculty research mentor, and if possible an external career counselor, not necessarily just for medicine, also for your ventures like business and so on. And 2 students from general student body who have applied for USMLE or CLAB and know exactly how the application process works. This cell will also review your CVs and give you points on how to improve it. Inclusivity and accessibility. We have a LGBTQ support cell in our council. I request you to please focus and maintain silence. We have an LGBTQ support cell, so we would like to conduct sessions on ground level problems faced by the LGBTQ people. We also want to start a disability support club where there is peer-to-peer learning of sign language by the use of free resources. We want to keep sanitary napkins in female washrooms and a functional restroom with wheelchair support and regular visibility, not just Pride Month posts for the LGBTQ people.
Candidate, you're already over time. Please wrap up your speech.
Thank you.
Okay, I will be beginning the question session. So, first of all, you've submitted 2 manifestos. One was for VP and one was for academic secretary, and a lot of them shared a lot of common points. One point you mentioned was that that external counselors will be appointed for people to make better decisions about their future. External counselors and alumni networks. Yeah, you remember that in your manifesto, right? Yes. So in your first manifesto for academic secretary, you mentioned that there will be external career counselors will be provided. And your second manifesto, which you sent for being a VP, you said if possible and if you have the funds, that external career counselors will be recruited. Why is there such an inconsistency of opinion in the manifesto that you are sending?
It's not an inconsistency of opinion per se. It was I drafted the academic secretary one first, and because there was a tight deadline, I wasn't able to oversee minor details like issues of funds when I first typed it. So it was actually supposed to be, if possible, even in the academic secretary manifesto as well.
Again, if you do not have time to oversee documents even within your tenure, how can we trust you in putting out notices and other things if such a grave mistake happened? There was an inconsistency in your manifesto.
Such a mistake will never happen again. I will ensure that it doesn't happen again, and I accept accountability for this inconsistency. Thank you.
You've mentioned a 30-day limit for grievance redressal, which is also very similar to the plans proposed by other VP candidates. How is your grievance redressal going to be different from the others?
I was not aware of any 30-day limit proposed by other candidates.
Okay, no, but I'm asking what is your plan to address a grievance in 30 days?
First, as soon as we get a complaint, a grievance meeting will be organized, and if it's a ragging issue, it will directly go to the ragging officers and the anti-ragging committee. However, if it's another issue, appropriate people will be called to the meeting, and a special council meeting can also be conducted to resolve the issue. And within the 30 days, the 30-day limit is to ensure that there is speed run of the grievance cell meetings to be held, and within 30 days, if a response is not available, a justification will be provided in terms of a letter to the person who made a complaint as well.
And you've mentioned about increasing online safety.
Yes.
Can you justify how that falls under the purview of the Student Council of ESIC?
Because the Chapter 1 condemns any mental harm. So online abuse, it is source of mental abuse for a lot of people. So I think it's very important that we oversee online safety in our college.
So how as the vice president are you going to address this?
So as the head of the media cell, and I'll also work very closely with the appointed media secretary to look at public accounts of the students and see if they are posting any vulgar content, any medical misinformation, anything to defame or target a particular individual.
So you're saying you're going to monitor every student's accounts across platforms and censor their content?
We are not going to censor any content. They absolutely have all the rights to publish what they want, but whenever it falls under the purview of abuse, that is when we're going to take action.
No, but how does it? Okay. You've mentioned initiative about pen tabs.
Yes.
To be given to faculty for classes and all of that. Wait, let me just complete my question. We already have a projector whiteboard in whatever condition it is. We have a blackboard, we have chalk provision, we have whiteboard, we have marker provision. How is your pen tab going to help? What new problem is this going to address? And where are you getting the funds for these pen tabs?
Okay, so the complaint I received from especially the junior batches was that the PPTs are boring for us. We want the teacher to draw something, write something, and then teach us. However, the boards are very small. For example, this room doesn't have a whiteboard or anything per se. So a pen tab is like, and whenever somebody is turning around to write, it reduces the interaction with the students, and the board is also partially covered. So a pen tab will be connected to the projector. It will be fixed over here, and whichever faculty comes can open the pen tab, write, take notes, and if they want, they can share those digital notes with the students as well. And the funds for it, we will request it from the administration to the financial.
See, all the problems that you just stated are very faculty specific. This and all of that. And the board size is still, are you going to also purchase a board for them?
No, I'm not going to purchase a board. No, it can be projected.
So then the projector size is still the same, no? You said the boards are small.
No,
the projector is also the same size.
They want the faculty to write something as they are teaching and not have fixed letters.
And this cannot be addressed by the existing whiteboard and chalkboard that we have.
No.
This cannot be addressed.
It can be addressed, but with its own limitations of reducing interaction.
Okay, so can we assume your solution to problems, one of your approaches, core approaches, will be to find expensive alternative routes rather than engaging what we already have in this college?
So a pen tab is not extremely expensive. We have 4 lecture halls, and each of them can be purchased at a low cost and be fixed within the class itself.
Okay, let's talk practically. Okay. Our college doesn't give us even 10 rupees. Okay, you cannot purchase pen tabs for 10 rupees. So anything in our college that you are spending on is expensive. So can we say your approach as a vice president will be with solutions like this, or will you actually be looking at what we already have and improving them?
Yes, ma'am. I will definitely look at what we already have and focus on improving them. I noticed that we already have a projector, we already have faculty who are very interested in teaching. So this was proposed as an infrastructural development, and if the college agrees to it, we will proceed with it.
Candidate, you started your speech with talking about how you don't have a group, quote unquote, alliance behind you, and yes, that is a testament of how you've made your whole campaign basically about how strong you are independently, and that is a testament to how strong you are independently, how you can handle it when the world's against you. But the student council consists of 42 members, if I'm right, 42 members who you will have to be working together with, and the entire student body who will be looking up to you if you're elected in this position. Yeah, exactly. The VP is the primary communicator from the student council to the student body. So how will you handle working in a group with a bunch of different people who may or may not have conflicts with you, pre-existing or newly existing, whatever? And are there examples in the past where you've been able to work in a group and handle it with a good outcome?
So I can definitely work with people I have conflicts of interest with. That particular, I don't know if you're referring to the...
I'm not referring to anything specific.
Okay. So, for example, I have formed groups outside of this college as well. I have formed an All India journal called Synapse, where students from, Hassan, from Patna, from Bangalore, they're all there, and we communicated just fine. All that matters is we all share the same vision of delivering the best outcome.
Fair, but we are in KK Nagar, and the thing that is important is your relationship with the people in KK Nagar or in this college. So that is what I'm getting at. How will you handle working with these people? These council members who may or may not be there with you, people on stage who may or may not be there in the council with you. If you're ACAD Sec, then someone else from here will be there. So how will you handle working with people who you've had conflicts with in the past? That's it.
So the people I've had conflicts with in the past, I do take accountability for the way I've handled things, a few of the things, and I accept that the way I went about it was a little aggressive. So I will ensure that there will be proper communication. Now that I'm like very well aware of the hierarchical systems which are present within the council to ensure that all the information is being passed around, I will like adhere to the constitution in these issues. Because it's a fixed constitution, it has to be followed, so I will follow it.
Thank you very much.
We'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on.
We'll move on to the rebuttals
Rebuttals.
from the candidates.
Any questions?
We'll start with him again, rephrasing it, saying it again. One question, one answer, that's it, no more.
Mic it down.
On the microphone.
You can go to the podium. Non-problem solved.
Hi, Amy. So, coming to your role as Vice President or Academic Secretary, if you remember or not, there was a very particular incident that happened during the works of Vicendus 2025, wherein we were designing the main brochure, the main theme brochure for Vicendus batch, and we vividly remember that the brochure was supposed to be released at 4 p.m. on 29th April 2025, and at 4 p.m. we had made all the announcements and got it ready. But at 3:30 p.m., without the core committee or the organizing committee or even the design committee, your own committee members' knowledge, your own committee members' knowledge, you came in, you changed the fonts and you left. Without proper alignment, without proper placement, everything got misaligned. Let me add on to the point. You wanted to tell that Cyril was there with you, so only you two guys are part of the committee. Only you two guys will be functioning unilaterally. So if you guys get elected, this is what we expect from you. If this kind of unilateral working is going to be from you, then I question your candidature. Thank you.
So I would like to give a very frank answer to this. When the Vicendus brochure work started, me and the heads of the brochure committee, we decided on a font style, and that was changed with a vote in my absence, and my opinion at that time was not considered. And later on, it was not a random decision which was made on a random day. I was also dealing with my online harassment issues, due to which I was roaming between offices and everything, and the committee itself was kind of supportive by allowing me to handle my issues as well. So I'm really grateful for that. However, when I saw the brochure again, everything was in capitals and cursive, which is very difficult to read. The purpose of a brochure is to ensure readability. So we called some 5 to 10 people randomly within our batch and showed them the brochure and asked them, are you able to read it? All of them, without exception, said, we are not able to read this clearly, it is too difficult to read. So at the end of the day, I made such a brave, bold decision because the outcome is extremely important to me. So while I understand the way I went about it was slightly unusual, I skipped a few steps, but even at the end of it, people agreed that the change was good, but the way I went about it was bad. So I will definitely alter my ways of going about things, but I do stand by my decision that changing the font was a good point, because there were so many grammatical errors which came into our purview only because we started doing the realignment again. Thank you.
Do you have any other rebuttals from the candidates?
Not at all. Okay.
No, it's okay. Anyone from the audience?
Okay, Iktasam, my question to you is, last year during Vicendus, you were the head of presentations, and I happen to be your co-head of presentation. Without anybody's knowledge in the committee, you happen to register yourself for medicine case presentation. In spite of being the head of presentations, you were able to access documents like the other participants' presentations. You were able to access their documents like abstracts and everything. Despite that, you happened to participate and you decided the judging criteria for the finals as well. So how do you, isn't that a way of misuse of power? And as a voter right now, I am scared that if I vote for you, you will do the same misuse of power once again.
Okay, so I would like to clarify that the judging criteria was not set by me. It was set from a research paper which gave that this criteria would be good, which set the criteria and all the models. So to say that I have been misusing power, it is a very wrong statement to say, because even though I was head of presentations, I have only accessed the research presentations because I was particularly in charge for research presentations. And if you want, I have already shared this as well personally through WhatsApp messages. I have shared the details of people who accessed the medical presentations, and I was not one among those who accessed it. And according to my role in participating, I have been participating in Lucinda's case presentation from my first year. It's kind of a ritual for me, and there was no rule specifying that heads cannot participate, because heads have been participating in multiple other places. So that is why, and again, I was an anonymous person. My proposal was selected, my abstract was selected anonymously, and I have no shame in admitting that.
Okay, thank you.
So one more audience question.
We have more audience questions.
Just one more.
The mental health cell, right? These trained students who are trained by psychiatry and community medicine department, is it our professors, fellow students, or someone from outside? And how do you assure confidentiality and anonymity in this?
Yes, that's a very good question. Thank you for giving that question to me. So the mental health cell, we are planning for a buddy program where students will be trained by faculties from here only. There will be a faculty from the psychiatry department and one from the community medicine department who will teach those peers, those students, how to listen and how to be a non-judgmental listener, because no one here is going to be qualified to be a therapist, but to be a listener, it takes a little more effort, but it is very possible. How to ensure confidentiality? See, you are approaching that person because you feel free to share with them. The students are not required to share those issues with the vice president or anybody. Those listeners can keep whatever they listen to themselves, and if it's a very serious issue, those listeners can encourage them to go approach the grievance cell, but the listeners should maintain absolute confidentiality to never reveal any of these details to us, no matter how grave they are.
So it's a student based.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, but we can't have follow-ups.
No
We're running very
follow-ups.
short of time, that's it. One more last audience question, then we'll move on.
Okay, Gibby, you said you wanted to introduce pen tabs for the faculty. But,
Okay.
so I have seen many times you'll be sitting in the first row with your AirPods on, with phone in hand, or you'll be working on your laptop. I've seen many times where you have not paid attention in class, and there have been professors who have used pen tabs, and I've seen that you don't really pay attention in their classes as well. So my understanding is that you cannot respect the faculty that is taking class. And how are you supposed to work with such faculty when in this college nothing gets done without faculty's permissions or support?
So you see me with earpods on. The pink earpods which I have, I only wear it when the class is about to end or during my break times. And even if it's during class, sometimes it's...
Can we please just wait for her to respond?
Yeah, and the only faculty who has used pen tabs was a medicine faculty, and I have been answering a lot in his class, and I do answer a lot of faculty questions by sitting in the first bench.
That's your response, right? That's it. No more follow-ups. Are there any more audience questions? Sorry, okay, time. Now we'll move on to the thank you, Ibtisam. Nice speech. Now the last vice president, Jishnu, for your opening statement. Thank you.
You can start.
Alright. So good afternoon everyone present over here. So before I begin my statement, I'd like to say that I want to address something before this. I have been someone who officially organized events before or held titles prior to this. But I've been consistently involved with events throughout the years, and I've been working on ground level as well as behind the scenes. Through this I learned a lot. I learned where the issues actually rise, where communication matters, and where coordination actually breaks. I may not have a title-heavy background, but I should know and have clear understanding of what to bring to the table and what needs to be improved. So what has driven me to come to this place, you might ask? We've been adjusting to this college since the very first day we're here. It's starting with very lecture halls which stay to the basic facilities like libraries and canteen and the very hostel most hostels live in. Why should we adjust for something we've been promised? Somewhere within these lines, adjusting has become a new normal for us. I've grown tired to adjusting. I've grown tired to wait for someone to bring about a change. A famous man once said, "Be the change you want to bring to this world." And I'm here to be the change. My campaign is built on a simple idea. Let's fix what really matters. Before we aim for bigger things, I like to believe that we need a really strong foundation, and our foundation needs strengthened a lot. Let's start here now. Let's starting with the very fundamental things that we come to the college for, lecture halls. Ensuring the lecture halls are well maintained is a must. And along with that, clean access for clean water, cleaner restrooms, and the basic overall campus cleanliness is a must for all of us. And basically, a hostel is a second home for the hostelers. And adjusting is not something you would like to do in your own home. You're living there for so much time, and you like to expect that the facilities are up to mark. And make sure that the hostel is properly maintained and you'll have proper mess facilities along with that. At the same time, college is about growth. So how do you get growth? Growth is through exposure to stimulus. So what do I want to do for increasing exposure for college? I like to organize inter-college collaborations, events, and more opportunities for students to interact with others. I'd also like to promote student-driven initiatives and clubs within the college to ensure networking between the students and to gain more exposure. Most importantly, I respect accountability. Accountability. When you expect someone standing on a dais like this, you expect accountability from them. And I like to make sure that accountability comes along with transparency. So I'd like to make sure that we get monthly student council meetings with moments of meeting released publicly to the people so that they get access to the student council meeting and react on it. I like to ensure that we get a two-way communication portal with the students and the council so that the students can issue that convey the issues, complaints and grievances to the council and we'll act on the same as well. I'm not here to say that I'll fix everything all the time or overnight, but I'm here to promise you that I will listen, I will follow, and I will focus on things that truly affect your everyday life. Because we deserve better than just adjusting. Thank you.
Okay, firstly, are you standing in an alliance or are you standing as an independent candidate?
I'm an independent candidate.
You're an independent candidate. Do you have a logo?
I do believe I have a logo, but I haven't submitted it. If I'm not wrong.
Okay, and what is your logo?
I'd like to be a butterfly.
Okay. Have you read the election rules and regulations before contesting for the election?
Yeah.
No, see, I just want to clarify that the first rule under logo is that logos are only issued for candidates who form official alliances. But in 2 of your interviews, you mentioned that you have a logo, even though you're an independent candidate. So there is a misunderstanding of the basic rules in your campaigning itself. So when you're the vice president tomorrow, will there be misunderstandings of the constitution?
I would believe that I wouldn't make such a mistake when I go to such a big position like vice president. I'm there.
You are contesting for the position of vice president, and you have made this mistake this time. So how are we to rest assured that mistakes like this won't happen when you're going to be the vice president of the student body?
I'll make sure that it won't happen again in future.
If it's happening now, how will you make sure it won't happen then? What is changing?
So the third time this has been done.
Because in 2 separate interviews, you said you have a logo, not one interview. So if it has happened now, what is the assurance you're giving us that it won't happen again?
I like to take the accountability for it, that it's a mistake on my part, and I like to make sure that it doesn't happen again. No, I might not understood the rules now, but once I read the constitution, I will understand it and I will stick to it.
So you are not aware of the constitution already. Only after you have been elected to the post, you will be reading about the specific parts of the post and what are committees in there. People have been talking about the post and their roles, And from what you have just said, so you're already not aware of the past and roles of the VP post.
I'm aware of how the
Okay, you are aware of
council-
only the VP post or the entire constitution?
Like, I know how the council works.
Your key campaign core principle has been fixing what matters, and the issues you've majorly focused on are water, lecture hall infrastructures, washrooms, and things like that. So this is a repeat question, I know, but because your promises revolve around these problems, I want to again ask them to you. These are problems that have been here for years.
Yes.
These are problems that 3 separate councils couldn't solve. What do you bring to the table to actually address these problems?
I like to make sure that I communicate with both the administration and along with the other student body to make sure that these things actually happen this time around. Even if you have to start somewhere, and I just make sure that the very basics are set out right so that you can build upon it better in the future.
So, do you think that the previous councils for 3 years, they haven't communicated this to the administration?
No, they have truly done it. I think it wasn't followed through in the future. I like to make sure that I actually follow through with it. Get the job actually done.
And you mentioned that you will be communicating with both the administration and the other student body.
I mean, not other student, I mean the student body.
Okay, the general student body. Okay.
Okay, another question for you. So mainly you're campaigning for basic changes which require, again, infrastructural reforms.
Yes.
That is your main campaign.
Yes.
So how can you ensure that when you're focusing on these long-term infrastructural reforms, that it doesn't come at the cost of addressing immediate concerns of your batch and like your junior batches?
That is why I mentioned that there's a two-way portal. I established a two-way portal within the council and the student body so that they can issue that, convey the issues and grievances to the council so that they're resolved as soon as possible.
So, but again, how will you achieve that balance? This is just how you receive complaints. How are you going to achieve the balance? This is your main campaign, by the way.
Yeah. Doing fast tracking, we have a grievance cell within council as well. I have to make sure the cell actually works within the time and actually does the job done.
Okay.
So just to clarify, grievance on a two-way portal చేయబోతుంది. ಇಲ್ಲ grievance ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೂ ಅಲ್ಲ. What do you want to do? Improve the grievance cell or establish a new two-way portal?
No, along with the grievance cell, our two-way portal to ensure other things apart from the grievance.
The grievance cell is the two-way portal.
Yeah, I know. My bad.
Okay, you can
Do we have any rebuttals from the candidates? Still, please. Again, one question, one answer.
Jishnu, in one of your reels, you mentioned that you will be providing abundance of basic facilities. How will you do that?
Abundance of basic facilities. I think
like we are in scarce of basic facilities. How will you provide abundance?
Basic communication with people and getting the job done. Let's start with
Louder.
No, abundance of it. I mean, let's say for supplying of water. Let's say we have water cans or water supply stations at like 2 floors, like once every 2 floors. I have to make sure that there's something outside every lecture hall, so that people actually get access to the water. They don't miss the lectures just because they want to get some water outside. So how to ensure that I talk to the administration, I talk to the students, how to make sure that we actually get the job done. That's what we are here for.
And another statement made by you was make hostel
This is a
habitable.
different question, not a follow-up. You get one more question.
It's a different question you can ask.
Different question, no?
You said you will be making hostel habitable. Do you mean it's not habitable now? Like currently living, like we are practically standing here.
I didn't mention it here actually in this statement, but I said I'd make it more habitable at least. When I visited the hostel, I've seen that there are structural integrity issues. Along with that, there will be an abundance of other animals like cats and dogs within the hostel, and we do know what health risks they actually pose. And it's actually difficult when you stay in a hostel with when you don't know what kind of disease you might get from the hostel. And I do think there's even mess starting with it. I think we need better mess in the hostel as well, and I think you might agree with it being in hostel yourself. Yeah, so I do think you need betterment of facilities within our hostel.
Are there any questions
Any
from the
other
other
questions?
candidates? No? No?
One more person from the board?
No,
You wanna
same.
ask?
We have to. No, what we-
He wants to ask.
Halal. Okay, are there any questions from
Any
the audience?
audience questions? Do you, wait, do you?
told that you filed your nomination at very last second, and when I asked you this, you told that it was an impulsive decision by yourself, and why did you get that impulse at the last second and not when the elections are announced or when?
Could you repeat the question again?
Could you not hear him?
I was told that you filed your nomination for vice president at the very last second, and when I asked you about this in class, you told that it was an impulsive decision taken by you. And why did you get that impulse at the last second and not earlier?
I've had the idea for a really long time. I think I just needed the correct push to get to the position that I'm right now. No, after seeing other candidates, I understood that I can do this and I can try for it. So I actually tried to get into the position and actually file nomination for the same.
You mentioned that.
I'm sorry. Time sorry. No follow-ups.
No follow-ups.
But have you gotten a response?
No.
Let that be known. See, next, are there any other
audience questions?
Okay, from
Anyone?
But I have never seen you in a delegate or a heading role. I've never seen you as a head of the club. So what is my assurance to vote for you and expect that you will delegate jobs very easily?
I've also had experience delegating events. Let's say for December, I have headed the workshop of surgery, which is for 2 days. And I think that went actually really well along with my co-heads of the surgery workshop. And I actually delegated with both the department and with my fellow heads and as well, the actual faculty that helped us out with the surgery workshop. Apart from that, I also helped the team in Minerva, Vicenters, and actually helped them delegate it as well. So I do think I have experience in delegating, just not as much as other contestants.
No follow-up.
Sorry.
And it's already 1:10. So second years you have forensic medicine class. So after giving your attendance to Mithun, you can leave. And this attendance will be forwarded to Meenakshi Sundaram sir for your 3 hours of pathology attendance. So please give your attendance and leave. Okay? If at all you miss and you have already left, you will be marked absent. I will make sure that Meenakshi Sundaram sir knows it. Okay? So people who are here, give your attendance and you can leave.
Okay, thank you, Vishnu.
Thank you, and that's my case here.
Thank you. That'll be it for the vice presidential debate. You guys can go take your seats. Can we have the candidates contesting for president to come up on stage?
So for the post of president, we have Jatpur Anusha and E.V. Sai.
Okay, we need to ask you not to clap in between the speeches because really hard. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, the audience. And one more small request from the audience to the audience. We'd like it if you didn't bring. We'd prefer it if you didn't bring personal beef into it. Just keeping it.
If anything was said to you in the capacity of them being in representative of sorts, then you can bring it up. But nothing personal. That's all.
Because that's not very fair to the candidates on the stage. So without further ado, we'll start with E.V. Sai Likita for her opening statement. Everyone's talking to their own shit.
Every student here has at some point faced an issue, petty or serious, and thought, will this actually ever change? And in the past week, looking at all the campaigns, manifestos with a new hope, the real question would have arisen. Who's gonna bring the change? Good morning, everyone. This is Sailita from the batch of Zenedians. In the past 3 years,
work within it, right from exams and timetables all the way to protests and conferences. So I do not just see this campus from the outside, I understand the effort behind it, energy in it, and the gaps that need attention. In other words, what works, what doesn't, and where we fall short. The truth is, most of our problems are not new. We already know them by heart. But the real issue is that they don't get resolved effectively or they take too long to reach the right people. And that gap between the students and their action is where leadership actually matters. A title alone does not make a leader. It's the intent that does. A president is someone who should be ethical in decisions, fearless in representation, and fully committed to the student welfare. Someone who listens first, but when it matters, speaks strongly enough for the entire student body to be heard. One thing that we as a batch are really proud of, besides other events, is Rasindas 2025, which was the biggest event in the history of ESIC with a footfall of over 1,200 students. And we, as the organizing secretaries and the core committee, along with other organizing batch committees, have ensured the smooth conduct of every single one of those events. And for me, this isn't just about the ideas, it's about execution. My approach, listening, structuring and delivering. Listening by creating a clear and direct channel for student feedback, structuring by turning concerns into organized, actionable processes, and delivering by following through consistently until the results are seen. Because change doesn't happen by just raising the issues, but by knowing how to take them forward. And that is exactly why experience matters. Not just as a title, but as an understanding. Understand how to communicate with the administration, how to push for the approvals, and how to ensure that an idea which starts ends as an implementation. For example, when Mahavir Jayanti was not declared as a holiday, the student council and it couldn't be resolved, but I followed it through, spoke with Registrar Ma'am and was able to get an additional holiday. Along with it, addressed the general TNJ University circular of holidays. That is the difference between raising an issue and seeing it through. Because leadership is not just about stepping forward, it's about knowing what to do once you're in there. And I wouldn't be doing it alone. I would be doing it along with my contestant, A.E. Hemant, who managed for Vice President. And we represent the Alliance on Fire, a balance of consistency and decisive action. Because meaningful change requires both. My key areas of focus will be improving campus infrastructure and basic facilities, strengthening academic support and ensuring fair opportunities, enhancing hostel living conditions and safety because comfort and well-being matter. And most importantly, the transparency and accessibility of student council to the general student body because every voice matters. I'm not here to make unrealistic promises. I'm here to take responsibility. What I bring is not just intent, but consistency, involvement, and a clear understanding of how to turn plans into an action. Because at the end of the day, it's not about visibility, it's about the responsibility. That has always been my mindset. That is who I am. Sai Likita, a hardcore ESIC. Passion to genuinely care about the student welfare, something that I've been always doing in the past. Purpose to work with clarity and direction, the plan of action for the present, and progress to ensure real and visible change for a better and brighter future. If given the opportunity, I'll make this campus a better place. Thank you.
Okay, candidate, just a simple question. What do you know about the ratifying authority of the president? And what do you know about the pocket veto that all falls under your powers?
Yeah, so from what I've learned is that majority of the clubs and committees come under the power of the vice president, but the authority of making a change or bringing about a ratification in the amendments or any meetings is under the power of the president. Besides that, the finance committee is under the power of the president, along with the treasurer, of course, treasurer and assistant treasurer from the pre-final year, and will be involved in the budgeting and the action. Besides that, the president is the one who will be in direct contact with the administration to bring about changes and represent to the university also as well.
What does a pocket veto exactly mean, though? You mentioned about the ratifying power. What is a pocket veto? A pocket veto. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question for you first will be, it's a repeat question from Hemant, but I also want to hear your answer for it. So you guys have been working together, you have a dynamic, all of this have been well established, you have experience which you also stated and so on and so forth. With experience also comes connections and you know, you can technically influence a decision, and all of this is also there. It's part of the package. You don't only get experience when you work for so many years, you also get people support and so on. This is something we all accept. But within the council, when you will be president, with or without your alliance, how will you maintain neutrality? How will you be, if there is a conflict, say within 2 batches, and one of that batch is your batch, and then there's another batch. Because within the council, we know that the representation of the batches is not uniform. The final year batch has more positions, so more votes. How will you, as a president of the student body, how will you perform your function without being a member of your batch?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Mainly the post president itself comes as something for the council itself and not the batch per se. We have batch representatives, the general representatives representing for the batch. So I don't think my voice will be for the batch alone. It will be something for the council itself. And with the experience and the alliance that I have, I think, and the dynamic that I've had, not just with Hemant, but all the other batchmates of mine. I think I'll be able to handle it with a neutral tone rather than having a bias towards our batch.
I'll give you a specific question, give me a specific answer. So, as I said, there are more votes in the council for the final year batch.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if there is a problem arising between 2 batches, and one of that batch is your final year batch, and the other is another batch. So naturally the votes are going to be, if all of your batch people believe in your batch, then naturally the votes are going to be inclined towards your batch. So then that's how the council's decision will lie. But you're the president who has to represent the interests of the entire student body. How will you address that?
No, it depends on the situation per se rather than being the voting majority.
No, I'm not worried about the final decision that's made. I'm asking you, what will your procedure be as a president to make sure that the batch that with lesser votes also gets an equal footing and an equal voice in the council?
I think more than the batch per se, the whole issue will be addressed as a issue and not a batch event. So
I'm saying in this particular case, it is a problem between 2 batches. There has been a problem. There's a conflict between 2 batches, and you're the president of the student council. What would you do?
Of course, I'm going to be neutral in the first place, and then a lot of thinking and strategizing will be there behind it, and in collaboration with both our batch and the other batch, the decision will be made on it. And it made sure that the decision is made after a proper consensus rather than a vote basis.
And because there are only 2 candidates for the presidential post, I have a question that I'm going to be posing to the both of you. And the question is, why does it have to be you? I mean, you can answer it when you come here. Why does it have to be you, and what makes you better than the other candidate? Or what makes you think that the other candidate is less suited for this post and it has to be you?
I don't think any candidate is less suited for the post because each of us have an equal voice and each of us have to be heard equally. So I don't think any of my experience or anything puts me ahead of Anusha, my fellow candidate. But I think all the experience that we gained doesn't put me forward, but it gives me an edge, or it gives a weighing pro and con situation to these voters per se, because after all the experience that we have gained, I think it puts us in a position where we can have relatively better access and relatively easier dynamic to work with and get the things done.
Okay. Can you finally define to me what a hardcore ESICN is?
Someone that stands for the college and someone that is there no matter what happens, in the good or bad.
So we just wanted to ask this question after both of you are done with your speeches, actually. So again, for the record, both you and Hemant sir, you've been class representatives. Both of you have been class representatives. But when it came to the student council elections, what point specifically made you to contest for president and him to contest for vice president?
It was more than the points per se. It was the agreement between us that brought about.
Yeah, the agreement, because we have distinct roles for the president and we have distinct roles for the vice president.
Yes.
And both of you have been class representatives for CR is the same
Yes,
post.
yes, absolutely.
But your vice president and president are not the same.
Yes.
What is the specific point that made Likita stand for president and Hemant stand for vice president?
Okay, so if we go through the rules, the responsibilities of a vice president, it involves more dealing with clubs and cells and committees, than directly dealing with the administration. And I believe Hemant is much stronger in terms of having dealing with clubs and committees than myself. And on the other flip side, I will be dealing with finances and administrative interpersonal relationships, and I believe I have a better edge. And more than the edge, it is what we believe upon each other and this.
Just a follow-up to your answer over here. So this ideal arrangement works only if both you and Hemant sir get elected. So in case that Hemant sir does not get elected, does that mean you will not reach your full potential as a president?
Absolutely not, because I would love him to be part of this committee, but if not also, I have my other fellow VP contestants. Cyril Sanjay, for example, I was the cultural secretary with him in the first year, and we had an amazing Astra Yard event. And Ibtisam is also a very strong candidate, and we are looking forward to working on the Journal Club and Research Presentations Club of ESIC, and Jishnu has been a batchmate of mine, so yes. So my interpersonal relationship with all of them have been resolved.
Can you give me one specific area or one specific area where your opposing candidate will perform better than you according to your opinion?
Absolutely. So she has a lot of potentials that I don't, and I'm owning up to it. Anusha is really good at culturals. She represents the batch and our college in various areas.
No, you are standing for the post of president, right?
Yes, sir.
President was general supervision.
Yes,
so
sir.
I want answer specific to the post of president.
Specific to the post of president. I think she has a lot more of relationships outside of the college, and people not just involving academics and university and matters like this. So I think our college will be better represented by her in areas.
Okay. So far you have been talking in a diplomatic language, I would see. You are not even directly going against your opposing candidate. You want to please everybody. You made a statement saying that I don't have a forward stance, but still I might have an edge. So it is a little bit contradictory.
Yes.
Do you think that if at all you make a bold statement, your opposing candidate is going to get offended?
It is not about frustrating someone, sir, but it is the basic truth that just because I have been a class representative for the past 2 years, it doesn't have to put me well ahead of her, because this is a role that requires everyone's representation and everyone's voice needs to be heard.
But being the president, you are supposed to pick a side. You have to make a bold statement. You should be giving bold statements. Even when you have the power, even if 41 people agree, if at all you are not signing for or you are not ratifying it, you can stop it. That is what a pocket veto means. You can keep it under consideration forever. That is a loophole which you have in our constitution.
Yes, sir.
If at all there is a need arises, will you use that power?
It depends on the situation, sir. I can't just blatantly tell. It is not a blatant yes or no
There is an
answer.
absolute necessity for it. What will you do? Will you go against the student body entirely?
Absolute necessity for me to tell no to this?
Yes.
I don't
It's a
think.
very sensitive issue and it is an absolutely necessary thing to go against the council in order to save the face of the institution. What will you do?
Absolutely, it will be a no, because not just me, I think my fellow council members will also be in the same stance as myself. So it's going to be a unanimous no.
Okay.
I will bring about a consensus within the council and make it a no rather than me taking a absolute no.
So when the need arises, you are okay to use that authority and
I am
not
ready to use this authority. I am ready to use it, but I will use it with discretion.
Okay.
Just to clarify, so you're saying that your overall approach to being a president will be diplomacy and trying to get everyone on the same page instead of you taking a separate stand as a president.
No, but isn't it what being a president is about? Making sure everyone is heard.
You are a representative of the student body, I agree, but I'm asking you if need arises, where you will have to take a particular stand, because you can't always be diplomatic in every situation, and you can't satisfy everyone in every situation. So we are just asking you that if you get elected as president, will you be the president that will actually take a stand?
Absolutely.
Instead of actually trying to convince everyone, bringing them on the same page. and things like that.
Absolutely. It doesn't, I can try to convince people, but if need be and people are not being convinced, I still have to take a stance. Then I have the pocket veto, as sir had mentioned, so I will be taking a stance.
This is for the VP candidates actually. Anybody can answer. Say the president is misusing their ratification authority, and people of the council have approached you as the vice president
And as the communicator of the council, how will you manage this situation? It is obviously wrong and it is a misuse of authority. I am directly giving you a statement. In that point, how will you deal this with the president and the council? Because you are the primary communicator between the presidential division as well as the secretarial division. So how will you respond to it?
So in case of any misuse of any of their powers, first we would like to, as a vice president, I would go and first communicate with her and say, see, the option that you're taking is a very wrong, misleading option, and it is not fine for the council to function. This is not going to work for the council, for the betterment of the council. If the president disagrees to it, then I will have to resort to go into like a council, bring into council consensus, and then.
Even if there is consensus, the president has the ratifying authority. So if at all the president doesn't sign any document, it never reaches the dean. So nothing can be done. Technically, it is blocked at that point. So it is obviously a misuse of authority, and people have been coming to you as the communicator between the presidential division and the secretarial division. How will you manage this? Do you have any alternatives or any other pathways which you can suggest to
Sir,
deal with this?
So I would like to go with first initial discussion and to make things.
Discussion failed.
Discussion failed. Okay. Discussion failed means the next step would be to impeach the president. I would like to impeach the president and say that you are not fit for this post, and it's better that.
Without going to the nuclear option, are there any other options?
Any other options?
Are you aware?
Dialogue and discussion is the primary solution. Followed by that, if that fails, I will have to resort to
the nuclear. Are you ready to drop the nuke on her if she's the president and she does something?
First of all, I would like to clarify that I know for a fact that the work dynamic that we have shared will ensure that this will never, ever happen again. We will make sure that will not happen. I will close with that. I would not even want to go to the other side.
You won't even consider the possibility.
Can you give us a permanent solution? Because impeachment is a temporary solution. There can be another row president.
What is the final solution?
Can you give us a...
So we will have to propose an amendment in the council and make sure that, because it is more president-centric, our council in general is mostly president-centric, we would like to make sure that there are certain amendments in the council that require dual signatories or dual propositions to make sure that both of them are on the same page.
Chapter 5 is not amended.
Chapter 5 is not amended. We will open a new chapter and make sure that it is being handled.
Does anyone else want to respond? Give an other solution.
The question was to all the VP
candidates. Can I put forward?
The present candidate, okay. So yeah, just by your campaign style and everything, where you choose to kind of please everyone, if there is ever a situation where someone who's a part of the council does something very abhorrent and embarrassing, and the president is basically the face of the council, how will you deal with the situation which was not your fault at all, and how will you deal with the person who's created this mess, someone who's gone extremely off track?
If I may ask, what are the stakes of it?
Let's just say it's an example scenario where they've completely offended a group of faculty in a specific department.
Okay. Firstly,
but the student believes they're right in doing so.
Firstly, I would take the accountability and responsibility for it and apologize, issue a public apology to the department and the faculties, and then I'll have to deal with the candidate in person.
The candidate says they will not change their stance and they would keep approaching the department or faculty of
I believe that comes under the council. It comes under the chapter. I'm so sorry. Chapter 8 of the council, where it comes as the direct impeachment
of the council.
Impeachment. So, following action will be taken accordingly.
Okay, just one more question. Yes. So, first years are not given a voice, basically, according to our constitution. So, what is your take on the fact that they do not have voting rights right now?
To be honest, I believe it is right to do so because they haven't. The council election timing this year has been a little delayed, and we are familiar with the first years. But in general, the first years, when they are, if the schedules are aligned properly without any COVID delay, the first years would have just joined the college and they wouldn't have enough exposure about the leadership skills or the things that require action. So I believe it is that will, so giving the first year's vote will actually tilt the vote towards campaign style rather than action and
Good response.
Now we'll move on to the rebuttals from Amisha, if you have any.
Yeah, so as you guys mentioned in your manifesto and you spoke right now, you already were a part of council and you said you worked within and change will be assured. So I just want to ask, and you also mentioned that you know the gaps, where the gaps were. And so I just want to ask you, if you were aware of the gaps, why didn't you take the action? Because you were a part of council these many years.
Thank you for the question. Because I was not in I was in a representative role and not in a decision-taking or authoritative role all these years. And I believe bringing that power this year would make the difference from all these years. Because first year, second year, and third year, second year and third year, I was general representative of the our batch, representing the issues rather than being a decision-taking or an authoritative role. So I believe that was the difference from the previous year. Thank you.
No more questions? No
Audience
Audience questions, anything?
Anyone for Likita? Please
Oh,
ask.
yeah, sure.
When we asked Hemant why did he step down from the role of class representative, he told that due to personal reasons he had to step down. But the only representative who stepped down was not him. Both of you stepped down simultaneously at the same time. With the same message, and also you mentioned that you believe that is the right step at this time. And why did you also step down, and why did you think that it was the right step at that time? Was it the right step for everyone or only for you both?
We believe it was the right step that was taken for everyone because we were in it together and whatever we had done as a team. And given the circumstances, he was stepping down. I was also ready to step down together. And yes.
Why is the question not answered?
Yeah, his decision was that because of personal reasons he wanted to step down. Mine was also partially that being a class representative is only a representation of the batch per se. So being a president, it is a voice of the entire council and the general student body of the college. So
you are telling me that the reason you both stepped down was so that you could come back and stand here for the post of president, vice president as an alliance together.
Last follow-up.
Last
Okay,
follow-up.
ask this and that's it.
Are you sure you don't want to ask anything else? That's the last follow-up?
அவ்வளவுதான் பேசுறது மட்டும் தான் கொஸ்டின். ஆமா, ஒன் கொஸ்டின் நல்லா கிறிஸ்பா. No, he's gonna ask.
That's the
That's
question.
the question.
That's all. Okay.
One answer, அவ்வளவுதான். That's it.
more than planning, it is about the timing of things, and I believe that's how things fell in place. So yes, more than planning or anything well in advance, it is about how things fell in place. And just natural course of things.
Sorry, time out. Now we are.
Can you give one
Okay,
question?
fine.
Last
One more.
question.
நல்லா வரணும்.
Someone asked that would you not be able to reach your maximum potential without Hemant? Why didn't you continue as class representative and both had to step down? Same question.
Because it was a joint decision that we had taken together. We both were the representatives for the past 2 years, and if he was stepping down, I was also ready to do it. Yes, so
Joint decision.
it was a joint decision more than anything personal.
That's it.
I'll follow up to that question. Just give me one conclusive statement. So this has happened because you both are class representatives. You stepped down together. You stepped up together. He came here and said he's ready to impeach you in case need arises. And I'm assuming you will also be ready to impeach him in case need arises. So can we rest assured that once you're in the council, if both of you, your alliance gets elected to presidential VP post, you both won't continue stepping down together and stepping up together?
thank you for the question, ma'am. But for the same, I have answered the question telling. I have good work dynamic with other candidates who are part of the council as well, not just the vice presidential candidates, also the secretarial division candidates and my fellow juniors who are in the roles of hostel representatives, general representatives, and so on. So, more than the work dynamic between us, it is all about, it is a coherent.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you now for our second presidential candidate, Anusha.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. So I'm here not just to promise a perfection, but I'm here to promise the consistency. Because let's be honest, most of us don't expect magic from the council. We just want things to work out. We just want our concerns to be heard and not forgotten. So, and that's where exactly I stand here today, not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who is ready to listen, learn, and actually follow through it. So there are 5 pillars of my manifesto, and the first one will be voice and accountability. A council should not feel distant, and that's why I'm introducing an anonymous feedback system where every student can speak freely, not just complaints, suggestions, ideas, real conversations. Because every voice matters, not just the loudest ones. And coming back to the second pillar, it's hostel and the living conditions, basically infrastructure. So for many of us, campus is not just where we study, it's where we live, right? So basic things like water, electricity, hygiene, safety, these are all not luxuries, like these are the basic essentials we can ask for. And I will make sure that there is a clear reporting system and more importantly, visible action will be taken. And the third one will be clarity and transparency. So how many times we have faced last minute confusions, timetable changes and all. So that ends with a proper event calendar. So students are informed, prepared and respected. And the fourth pillar will be the opportunities where I feel opportunities should not be limited to a very few members. And I work towards a fair OD access and more inter-college exposures because talent is existing everywhere in ESIC. It just needs to get a chance. And the fifth one will be knowledge and knowledge sharing culture. We have seniors with experience and juniors with curiosity, but no proper bridging is present. So I just want to build a student-driven knowledge sharing culture, whether it may be in academics, cultural, sports, or even in NEET PG guidance. So what makes me different from all this is, what stands out is these debates, speeches, everything is gonna end with this hall. But what truly matters is what's going to change tomorrow and who is willing to stand with you in every phase of the fight. So, also the initiative I wanted to initiate is, I wanted this student council to work as a system. It's not like a one-man show where only the heads are, having the opportunity to talk or to take decisions. And also the anonymous forms, if we say that, if I say that I'll give an anonymous form, obviously it will be misused. And we'll make sure that since it is misused, we are not here to put our concentration on what is misused. But yeah, basically I want to tell that even if it is misused, we'll make sure that even that one quiet voice is heard aloud. Thank you.
Okay, so the candidate during their campaigns have mentioned about their lack of experience and how that we should not vote for experience but based on student life and stuff. So what makes the candidate think that the lack of experience makes them a superior candidate to vote for?
Sorry, can you explain the last statement?
The candidate has mentioned that do not vote for experience, that you experience the student life, and that we don't have to vote on any sort of experience. So, can you tell us why that your lack of experience could make you a superior candidate to vote for?
I am not saying it is making me a superior candidate, but I just said that because they like the opposition of her. They both are in alliance, and most of they have contacts with many of the batches because they were being in the post, they were being in the power since 3 years, right? So I just want because I feel with experience they see with a only like a one-way path, and I want the issues to be addressed with like a new vision.
Just a follow-up to that. So now you think that your viewpoint is very necessary for the council because it's not plagued with experience of the past or whatever. Why now? Why didn't you feel the need before? Why have you chosen to campaign right now, especially for the apex authority that is the president?
Because I actually I was an informally active participant in hospital issues and all, but I never felt actually the previous council worked a lot and they were addressing the problems. But the problem where we were facing was we were missing the follow-ups and we were missing the transparency, like what is happening in the council. They might give us information with regards of like WhatsApp groups, chats and all, but my question is, why didn't you ask what we need? Like, why was the decision taken only by the council? If it is like involving this general student body, at least you can come ask in the class, saying this was a decision taken and what do you feel about this?
Candidates, so this has been an issue ever since your first year.
Yes.
So why if you've experienced this not for 1, 2, but 3 years, why have you been still for so long and chosen to take up the helm of authority right now?
Because I think President will have a overall supervision. So regarding the post.
Okay. To follow up with that answer, one thing I've noticed with your answers now, and even in the questions you posed to the other candidates, is that you've repeatedly been asking why they didn't come and ask us, Were you someone who went and complained in the first place? So you have stood up and you have asked, and yet they didn't come and ask you was the problem.
It's not like when I stood up, they should answer. Because the basic purpose of the student council is to represent a general student, right? So why should we have a need to ask? Like why aren't
you
we
have the
represented?
responsibility to complain.
Yeah.
You don't have the need to ask. They should come and ask you, I agree. But you have a responsibility as someone in the student body to complain, to raise your voice.
Yes.
Was that done?
Yes.
So that was done. So if you get elected as the president, then you will be someone, from what you're saying you will be someone who will also ask people as well as you will also stand up and raise complaints.
Can you repeat that again?
No, your questions have been revolving around someone not coming and asking you, saying you said they didn't come and ask us what our problems were, they didn't come and ask us and all of that. So tomorrow if you get elected as the president and you are the president of the student council, so you will be someone who will be asking as well as raising complaints, or will you be only doing one of this? What is your approach?
Yes, ma'am. I would first talk to the general student body and collect the complaints, and then we'll categorize it. And then, according to the priority, we would like to sort out the issues, and then we'll have to like make sure that it's being followed up.
Because your questions implied that there are people who have something to tell the council or the representative, but they weren't given a voice. So what is your solution for things? So tomorrow, let's say you are a president who are going and asking, but someone is not coming out. What is your solution to get them to come and question?
Ma'am, that is why we are having this anonymous feedback form where they can address the issues.
Actually, it's not a different question. It's the same question I asked them. But before that, when was your alliance officially confirmed?
I think it was before 1 week.
Okay. So again, the same question. Why you as president and why Cyril sir as vice president?
Because I feel like I've been seeing Cyril being an active participant in all the domains, and I have a better experience in culturals more than in academics. So I want someone who can support me in all the domains. So I wanted him to be the VP.
So suppose if the roles are reversed, if you're the vice president and he's the president, do you think the alliance would still work in the same efficient way?
Yes, I think because I think experience is valuable, but I think learning is also a process of leadership. So because I think learning is a very continuous process because situations won't be the same. We have to keep learning. So I would learn and follow.
Okay, So this is regarding your duties as a president. Do you know which are the roles that that the president will have to be appointing?
Yes.
Yeah, what are they?
So the president will be the chief executive head of the council.
What are the roles you will be appointing?
I'll be the general supervision to all
Roles you will
the.
be appointing. The roles you will be appointing. There are certain posts in the council that the president will have to appoint. What are those roles?
I'm actually not sure about it, but.
Does the other candidate know about this?
Meant by selected and elected posts or?
The appointed post by the president.
So I think the selected posts of the final year council will be by the president in collaboration with other members of the council upon a consensus. The post will be media secretary, organizing secretary, general secretary, and treasury.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, candidate. Okay, and also candidates, so there are multiple cells that function under the council. So one such cell is the LGBTQ cell. There hasn't been a specific mandate on the workings of the LGBTQ cell according to the constitution. So what is your take on it, and how will you move forward with that particular cell during your tenure if you're elected?
I would like to. General secretary will be the head of the LGBTQ cell, and I would like to introduce a few initiatives, and also like when the council meeting is happening, and I want the representative, the general secretary, to take some or the other initiation regarding
Any
that.
initiatives in specific you have in mind, candidate?
I think generally they won't be able to express themselves the fear of discrimination and all, they might not be able to express. So we might conduct a session of just like awareness or something.
Okay, so but a plan will be formulated only after you come to the post, for even though there has been like cells already assigned. Unfortunately, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I had said that there'll be one question I'll be posing to the both of you. So to keep things fair, you've already answered. She has to answer. So what makes you different? What gives you the edge over your other candidate? Where is the difference?
As per se, I actually respect both of the opposite person who are standing opposite to us. But I think because I am also a part of this suffering, whether it may be the hostel or the academics, I think I might stand better or take the action. At least that, it's like, even if you like take me like I'm a very selfish person or something like that, but at least I would work that if things are being done, I'll also be one of the beneficiaries. So.
No, we haven't. Okay, so you're standing in an alliance.
Yes.
So let's say you get elected and your vice president doesn't. Same question again. Who are you without your vice president? What do you bring to the council if your alliance doesn't get elected but you get elected?
Ma'am, I think, thank you for the question, ma'am. I think alliance is just to make the representation strong, but that doesn't mean that without an alliance I'm weak. I still stand confident and I still have a voice to represent. So.
Are there any rebuttals from the other candidate?
Oh, just one second. Can I have a follow?
The candidate mentioned that any sort of like proposals or schemes that would be put forth by you, it would eventually benefit you, and like that's why you want to do it. Am I wrong in interpreting that?
No, it's not that that's why I wanted to do.
But
I'm saying even I will be the beneficiary.
Oh, okay, got it.
She had
So a lot of your campaign has been around being a hosteler and the hostel life, but directly or indirectly. But when push came to shove last year, when we had girls hostel issues with the senior batch, in the last minute, things were not going very smoothly from both the senior batch side and our side, and it involved a lot of faculty coming down to at that moment from warden, medical superintendent and all. And being a non-hosteler, I
myself and Hemant and a bunch of others were there in the field till the last moment, talking to all of them, and throughout, almost till the end of the night we were there. So, do you think being a hosteler still puts you ahead in terms of hostel matters, or do you think both hostelers and day scholars have equal representation, and it is the approach that matters more than being a hosteler?
Thank you for the question, but first of all, I don't think my whole manifesto is running around the hostel, because I wanted the quieter voices to come out loud. That is the whole point of my manifesto. And even I was there when the hostel issue was happening. I don't feel I have a superior aspect over my opponents because I'm a hostler. And I believe that even hostlers and I don't believe such of like hostlers and day scholars, because we all fight for one thing, and that is safety and our comfort, because this college is going to give us a lot. So I don't believe that we'll have a difference in hostlers and day scholars.
Do you have any other questions, or any questions from the audience?
One question, apparently.
Hello. So this question is to both the presidents and 4 vice presidents. I want to ask it. Okay. So previous 2 student council president and vice president, there are 4 of them. They have promised to bring water solutions to the hostel. What they promised to us, they would bring water cans to all 4 floors in both boys and girls hostel. But it has not been done. Why do you guys think it happened? Why are they not? Why they couldn't do that?
I think they actually pushed to initiate this thing, but I think the major place where we all fail is the follow-up. And if we properly follow up, if the system is properly following up and giving the updates, obviously there will be pressure on the management. Obviously there will be pressure on the person who is handling it. So we might get better results.
If I may add, we shouldn't neglect the fact that there were some serious time constraints that were there with the previous council. We have to address the fact that their council duration was relatively much shorter, and they had their university examinations coming right up. So the follow-up and the time constraint is also one of the additional factors that brought about this.
So how much time do you think to get 4 water cans in 4 floors? When both girls are 8 cans. How much time do you think?
It doesn't take much time for us to bring it, but for the, you know how things work with our college and our administration. So it is more than us asking how much time it takes to bring a can from ground floor to first floor. It is about how much time it takes for us to push a paper through the admin to bring us a water can.
Okay. So it's difficult to get it from administration, I understand. But still I still feel lack of will to do that. If those who promised had a will, they could have done it in other means. Okay.
So the thing here would be a miscommunication between the staff involved for.
And one more thing I want to clarify, in girls hostel we have water cans for every floor.
So I believe the miscommunication is between the person allotted to keep the water can and the administration. So what can be done for that is there is a pathway in the constitution to hold a special council meeting, inviting the people and actually explaining it to them and delegating the task directly in front of them, not through like a very long pathway of handing out letters. So a special council meeting can be done to address this issue.
As a normal student, as a hostler, what we felt was, we raised the concern to both the previous councils. They promised to do that, and after that there were dust of them. They just went like that. So what we are concerned is, if you guys can do it, you can. If what you are promising, you should try to do it at
Even
least.
though I'm not a hostler, I came to the hostels, I waited there for 45 minutes. I saw the condition, like water was leaking out. I completely understand all of your concerns and I see how difficult it can be to do so. So to address those issues, a special council meeting can be kept with the people responsible for water cans.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Can we have Iktizam and Jishnu on stage?
For VP. Questioning for VP.
Sir has a few questions to ask you.
He had an audience.
No, I asked questions for two of the other vice presidents, so otherwise it would be an injustice from my
And I was
point.
hoping that you would be here, sir.
I should ask questions to both of you, sir. I have opened the manifesto of Jishnu first, so I'll ask questions to Jishnu. I did not listen to your debate, so I'm asking questions from this. So here you have mentioned transparency for you as one of your promise. So what does this transparency mean? For example, let's say we have many events and we do collect a lot of funds for the events, and many a times we expect people to be very transparent about the funds. So I have two questions, two paired up questions. Question number one is, will you transparently show the expenditure to anyone and everyone who is going to ask you? That is, later you cannot say like we cannot reveal it to everyone, those kind of not good. Like any student comes up and asks you for the expenditure, the tally sheet, will you be able to do it? And number two is, if people who are giving these kind of promises and later they tell us that they will not show the tally sheet or whatever, they are not following the promise, what should we do to them? That also you tell me.
Regarding the first thing about, the transactions or what the treasury actually does, the transactions that happen. I believe that everyone has the right to information of what is actually happening in the council. Even the transactions and financial stuff that's going on, I do believe anyone can come and ask us and we will be able to show them that.
How do we make sure that everyone gets access to it? Not someone coming and asking us from their side.
We'd like to publish it openly onto the, on forums like WhatsApp or social media to make sure that everyone gets to see what's happening.
So you'll publish.
Yeah.
Suppose you get elected as vice president, you will publish. If not, what should we do? If you get elected and don't publish, what should all these students do?
And we do have the right to come and question it. We do.
What exactly should we do? Can we take you down from your position?
I do not think that's possible here. But
They've been talking about impeachment for 2 hours.
But that's from within the council. Yeah. We can't as a general body suddenly say we do not like this council, we are on this thing.
Then why should we vote?
That is what I meant.
Then why should we vote?
If we are putting you in power, why can't we remove you from power?
Like you say something to us, you promise something to us, and then we vote you, but you don't follow that. If we cannot remove you from the power, why are you first of all asking us to vote?
Democracy.
Good point, sir. And I do.
What will be your answer?
I do think there should be amendments to the constitution that actually distribute the power from both the council and the general student body.
So you'll add this point to the powers?
Does the council need a separate definition? Isn't the council a representative of the general student
It
body?
is.
Why do you need to add a separate line saying student body needs representation in the council?
I mean, even though we're representing, the majority of the voice is usually heard. The minority, gets shoved outside. That's what I've seen happening. Okay, I'm sorry.
Fine. One more. What made you write this thing in your promise? Transparency for you, you have written. What made you write? Where have you felt the transparency was not there in your 3 years in ESIC? That made you write this in your manifesto?
Though it hasn't been my personal concern.
It can be.
It's something I've heard across events that happened. I've heard it in multiple places that people were not given access to what's happening within the council and how they're not able to get to know that what's happening and what
This transparency is about council affairs and council matters.
that what's happening, what decisions are taking. I even heard council saying that the decisions are being one-sided and there isn't being enough communication with the general body.
Okay. And you talked about enhancing student spaces. You have mentioned accessibility to library, functional common rooms. So what is the strength of each batch in ESIC?
Our batch is 125 while the junior batch is 150.
What is the proportion of day scholars?
I think it's around 70%.
70%. So from 4 batches, 70% day scholars amount to how many day scholars?
One more question.
It's around 400.
Let's say 400.
It's around 600 students.
400 or 600. How will you provide a functional common room for 400 to 600 students in this college?
I mean, we do have a recreation hall as well. I need to say that
If we do have one already, why are you writing it in the promise that you will bring functional common rooms?
I think it should be open for everyone at all the times.
How can you open a small room to 400 to 600 people?
Yeah, that's why I meant to say that multiple spaces.
Where multiple spaces?
Like student spaces. People.
No. Like I was trying to tell about the infrastructural possible.
Yeah, I mean, I understood.
Overall spread of our hospital.
There isn't enough space. I do understand that. We cannot accommodate everyone.
So you understand that it is not possible, but still stating it in your promise.
No, like we can try to
I'll
accommodate.
go to her. I'll ask her one question. The other one, you have said something about students who can do better. There you have said students who are at risk of eligibility, you will call them separately and you will do something for them. So that is the metric you are going to use. So the ultimate aim of you is to make students get eligible for exams?
Sir, that's not the point. That's the thing is, there are definitely students who would benefit from a little extra push and little extra support. And the measure that we have in college in place, it is the measure for eligibility. I'm unable to introduce a new way of measurement, which is why I use that term. However, we could have a discussion with the representatives of that batch and get to know if somebody needs any support.
But can we not do an anonymous survey and find out how many of them needs additional help or support for academics?
So yes, that can absolutely be done. Anonymous support can also be given. And as I have mentioned, all the support provided will not be through batch group communications, but rather discreetly done.
Yeah, it is discreet.
Yeah.
The way of identifying who needs support, that was.
Okay.
Rather than fixating it on eligibility, then it becomes the entire aim of getting into a college itself is to get eligibility in each exam and then get passed. That is not the aim of MBBS, right?
Yes, sir.
So that eligibility part I had a question. Thank you.
There was one audience
question
which we'd like
to
to,
the president.
with that we'll wind up the presidential debate. So we'll ask. Yeah, would you like a mic or?
Mike?
Hari.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
During her speech, she mentioned that her voice is not addressed in the council. I don't think so. Me and my co-joint secretary have been circulating the G forms, and we are getting complaints from, you can complain to us, and along with Tejaswini ma'am knows how the organizing committee of the council works. We'll collect the complaints from the general body, and we'll make an amendment in the council. And I don't think you ever complained it to us, I guess.
First of all, I didn't say that only my voice was heard. I said
You just said you have raised your voice.
I did. I don't want to mention their name because I don't want to drag them into the debate, but I did.
But your if you are complained it, your voice would have addressed in the council. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
my original concern was why would, if something is happening in the council, why aren't we aware of?
We are doing it.
You are putting text in the WhatsApp group. I agree to that. But why aren't we asked?
Minutes of the meeting is being shared in the group.
Sorry?
Minutes of the meeting is being shared in the group, I guess. It is not, I guess it is being shared.
All the notices issued from the VP are being displayed.
And I am the one who is typing it also.
Sir, I am not saying that council and Nadakkaradhu they are not displayed. I am saying they are not being discussed with the general student body.
You want there to be conversations about
That is why we have representatives. The general student body is due.
That is what, sir. But our representatives அவங்களுக்கு
Pursurida, like it is going to a decision. That is what is my concern.
I just want to say that with the approval of VP, all the student council meeting was a general. You can attend the council and all. It was an open committee, open meeting only. Then I don't think you
Even
have.
committee meetings are open meetings, and for the Bharat Sangh committee meeting, they had other people who are from the general student body also attending the meeting. We have published it everywhere. If at all you are interested, you are always welcome.
Sir, what if some people are introvert and they don't have
We can seek the opportunity.
That's what I'm saying.
That is why communication, sir. I want that why.
So you want it to be like we have to go and individually ask everyone that what is your problem, what is your problem.
I might not talk in the council,
So
but I
you are
might talk in
telling
the
that
class.
we can ask the question to an introvert in front of a class.
No, see, let's stop. Give us a response about that
You
point.
give a response, then he will ask.
He'll ask.
Stop it.
You answer. Whatever you want to clarify.
As a joint secretary, myself and my Uzaifa is a co-joint secretary. We are the one who is getting complaints from our batches, and we don't think we didn't get any complaint from you, and like we didn't get any complaint from you, and we represented our batch complaints in the council. I guess it is. Sorry, I guess not. It is.
Thank you for representing our complaints, but still we have complaints where I seriously didn't feel that any of like most of the people's voice is heard because council meeting I meet too. Council meeting like hostel updates and all we are being updated, but I don't feel the general council meetings are being discussed with the general student body. And that is where my concern. It is not about the notification. It is about the response we are getting from them. If actually, if the council is actually working and they are giving something, where are the results? Why can't we see?
And if you are elected as president, how will you change that?
That is why I am introducing anonymous feedback form.
Anonymous feedback.
Yes.
No, that's the answer that she's given for the question.
Actually, anonymous feedback form was there, but it is not properly being followed.
So you'll make it functional.
Everything will function perfectly under you.
That's it. She's given a
Thank you.
Thank you.
Academic secretary.
Okay, so with that, we've
Only one person. It is in a
question. You just wind up with us.
Because he came and asked brief presentation. That is okay.
Okay, without further ado, the presidential part of today's debate is over. We'll just wind up with the academic secretaries. So first we'd like to call Ashwin Ji to the stage. We'll just have, for this part, for the last part, we'll just have your opening statements and we'll just move on. That's it, because we're very short of time. So we'll have you give your speeches and we'll wind up. That's it. We'll have rebuttals between each other.
Yeah, that's it.
Good afternoon to respected judges and my dear friends. Today I'm here to speak about the gap that has been there between the theory, exams and the clinical practice. I'm Ashwin Ji, standing for Academic Secretary. My belief is that medical system that we study now is just for passing exams. But when it comes to real patient care, we do hesitate. So I want to bridge that gap, because the first thing which I'm going to implement is clinical case discussions. So after 4, we're going to keep 1 or 2 hour classes where it is not as such a class, because we'll bring patients and the interested professor who will teach us will come and explain everything about the disease from A to Z. We study the subjects separately in different years, but integration is a part which we lack, and that's the most important, because patients do not just give that they have OG complaints or medicine complaints. They can have multiple complaints, but we tend to just ignore many of them and we just focus on just one complaint. So I want to bridge that gap. And second thing is for all of us, we have a common goal, that is NEET PG and all other PG exams like USMLE and PLAB. We have planned for arranging MCQ discussions for specifically for NEET PG, and those going to be just MCQs, and we are going to discuss not just what the correct answer is, but also why that answer is correct and all of the differential possibilities the answers could have. And the third thing is, I would like to get help from Speakers Collective Club and Tamil Mandaram, so that people who actually go to research presentation, symposium, case presentation and poster, they might not feel that much confident to speak up. And I want to build that confidence through Speakers Collective and Tamil Mandaram. And the last thing is research. The research is very important, but it is not that much preferred by most of the people. Some may say it's boring, but it's actually interesting. And I have a very minimal exposure in research, but still I did a ICMR proposal in first year as well, and in physiology, and I want to create small groups for research where at least if you don't want to do research, but at least you should know how to read abstracts and how to know how to search in PubMeds and other search engines, because that is definitely essential, because as a doctor you're going to know, you should know about the updates to have a better care towards your patient. So at last, I'm not making any unrealistic promises. I have a clear structured plan to make your learning more clinically. Thank you for your support. Ashwin.
Thank you, Ashwin. Example, you have one question. We have only time for one question to ask. So do you have one question?
So Ashwin, I'd like to ask you, how do you plan to bridge the gap between students in research with research mentors if you do not have much experience in research? Because that's one of the roles for the academic secretary mentioned in the constitution.
I don't have, as I said, I don't have much experience in research, but definitely I would like to get help from seniors and other colleagues who have research experience, and I would like to get the help from them. And I would like to form small groups for such people who are interested in research.
Okay, thank you, Ashwin. Now we'll have Ibtisam's speech.
Good morning, everybody. I am Ibtisam, and I have spent 3 years in this college watching capable students shrink because they didn't have the right support at the right time. When you walk out of this college, you shouldn't just walk out with an MBBS degree, but with relevant skills which will help you excel wherever you go. So how many of you knew that the skills you need can be built right here in ESIC if someone had shown you the way from the start? Our students have enthusiastically started research projects, but they dropped it midway because they couldn't get the continuous support or guidance. And trust me, I have really great plans for it. So the academic secretary, as per the constitution, will have to oversee the academic events, keep note of research projects, and evaluate and help connect students with the research mentors. And with my vast experience in research, I can assure you that I can definitely identify and help you identify your area of interest and connect you with relevant faculty. So the step one you're going to do is research access program. I will personally sit with groups of 4 or 5 students and look for gaps in literature. So it's not just about getting a proposal done, it's proposal to report to publication. Continuous support throughout the process will be provided. Step 2, career counseling. Step 3, competition support. So we have multiple clubs in the college, but they operate as separate islands. So we will foster collaboration between those existing clubs. language inclusivity. We will try to start a small series on Instagram where we post 30-second clips of history taking in Tamil, which will help the non-Tamil speaking candidates to excel in their clinical postings. And then the disability inclusion. A lot of students, they do not know sign language. They know what this means. This. It's important that you know basic sign language because you will be talking to disabled people in your career. So we will be fostering peer-to-peer program for that. And we also suggest infrastructural changes, which was explained in my previous opening statement. We have ONO subscription for all our students to access journals. It will be better if we have a functional electronic library with Wi-Fi access. I will definitely try to take it up with the council. And the libraries are being closed due to attendance issues, and that will also be addressed. And there will be a support for students who can do better as well. Academia, it's not just about attendance and marks. It is. I will definitely try to make it fun and something that you can look forward to. Thank you.
Do you have any
Questions?
One question, one answer.
No
question, no question.
Okay. I think that's it. Okay. Sorry, I'm so sorry. We are very short of time. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, first of all, to our wonderful faculty advisors and our returning officer. Thank you so much for carrying with us through all this. So how long it took. Thank you to all the candidates who stayed. Thank you to the audience or whatever is left. Yes. What's one more question? Yes, please.
So will the existing council, that is the 2020 council, will they be willing to sit in for a debate so that we can discuss where the manifestos that they...
One more debate.
No, the 2021 council, will they be willing
These
to
guys.
sit in for a debate?
I'm ready. You can ask me directly right now. I'm ready. I will answer. No, if you have any questions pertaining to me, I will answer now itself. You have any? No.
We want to debate with everyone else.
We have enough time, I guess. You can conduct if you want. We have got enough time.
Not only you, sir.
We will inform. If it is possible, we will try to conduct. That's a question to
the
them.
manifestos were fulfilled or...
If it is possible, we will try to conduct.
Okay,
that's a good start. Okay, so thank you to everyone who showed up, everyone who stayed. And with that, we'll wind up today this year's presidential debate. Thank you. You guys stayed.